Paradise City, where the grass is sand and the girls ain't pretty. They're fat! So this is the low-rent Star Wars cantina. And the Star Wars cantina was a low-rent Star Wars cantina. This set and these extras are unbecoming of a feature film. The costumes all look like they were borrowed from other movies. Somebody found them in the Paramount wardrobe department. A Victorian-era dress? Throw it in there, why not? Just put some mask on somebody wearing it. What's this from? Dorothy's dress from The Wizard of Oz? Throw it in there. Just don't get any shit on it. Plus the Catwoman is dancing on the bar, but there's no music playing. Who directed this film? William Shatner? Oh, by the way, where did the Romulan diplomat even come from? She rode into town on a horse. Did she land a small shuttlecraft on the planet far away from the city, buy a horse, and then ride that into town? Or did a Romulan vessel drop her off with the horse? Or drop her off and then told her to find a horse on her own? If that's the case, they should have beamed her right into that conference room, so she didn't have to walk through that dangerous bar. But the point here is to introduce our future hostages, who ultimately serve little to no purpose in the film. I like these characters though, and I wish the whole movie was about them. Except I really don't like the Chinese lady, because she looks nothing like what a pre-established Romulan looks like. Shit, even in the original series, Romulan still had the forehead and the ears. It's the Klingons that look like white guys in brown face. But here the Romulan is just a Chinese lady? So the Federation representative is an asshole who smokes, and the Klingon is a fat drunk. The point is the governments all send the bottom of the barrel diplomats to this shit planet. I guess I should explain Nimbus 3 even though it's pointless. Apparently it's some kind of politician's bad idea. A utopian-type planet where the Federation, the Klingons, and the Romulans all share a planet and a colony in the name of galactic peace. The problem is it became like an alien housing project. It doesn't seem to even have any humans, Romulans, or Klingons there anyway. So instead of the simple solution of just abandoning it, they send 3 diplomats there, without any security, mind you, to talk about why it sucks there. The whole planet looks like just a small movie studio set someone constructed in the desert, with like 100 extras in it. So for some reason, Cybok is also on the planet, riding around on a horse, and rounding up Mad Max movie extras for his own personal army. Anywho, a little note on this scene. Due to budget constraints, they had to cut out any keyed-in effects for monitors and screens. To save money, they opted to use either rear screen projection or TV screens, as you can see there. You could even see the video interlace refresh as some crew member hits stop on the VCR in the background. They do it a cheap plastic screen thing that rises up in an attempt to make it look like something futuristic. But really, it's just an old TV screen back there. Jesus Christ, really? So I got some questions. Why was Cybok on this planet to start with? His plan is a little convoluted and risky, don't you think? Involving 3 major superpowers to all come with starships? What if the Federation came with 2 starships? Or 3? Or what if the Romulans got there first and started carpet bombing? Of course, that would be after they beamed the unrelated Chinese lady off the planet. Cybok seems intelligent, passionate, and peace-loving. You'd think he'd think of numerous other ways to acquire a starship. So you probably recognize these shots from the ending of Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Now I'm all for recycling glass, paper, people, but visual effects in a science fiction movie? No. Especially this doesn't even make any sense. But hey, they had to keep costs down, I guess. The thing that they didn't think about when reusing this shot is that the Enterprise is clearly inside the space dock. Later on, when they recall the crew, they show the Enterprise floating near the moon. I guess maybe Scotty decided to move the ship, which is still under repairs, out of the space dock. These cheap things and bad sets and bad costumes all start to unravel this movie before it even starts. Anyway, here comes Uhura with potato chips. Hey, why don't you help fix something? There's an attempt at a comedic subplot here where Uhura and Scotty have some kind of chemistry or sexual tension or something. Later in the film then, when Sybok frees her mind, Uhura begins to make awkward sexual advances towards Scotty. Her mind is uninhibited, so she wants to fuck an old fat white guy. They don't do anything though, as far as I know. But this falls clearly in the give them something to do territory. For some reason, Uhura is now the sex appeal in the movie. She acts sexy towards Scotty, and then later in the movie does this weird striptease dance that makes me want to throw up all over my throw up. But here's where they get the message from Starfleet to recall everyone. They have something called a Priority 7, which doesn't sound too important, but it's good enough to ruin everyone's trip to the woods or camping or whatever the fuck they were doing. Why are Sulu and Chekhov walking around the woods together? This is so bizarre. They have shore leave and they spend it together? The ironic part is that in the movie, Sulu is the only one they mention having a wife. It was in Star Trek Generations. Kirk was like, when did Sulu have time for a wife? Well, Kirk, he certainly didn't spend time with her when he was on shore leave. No, he's gone all Brokeback Mountain with some Russian guy who actually starts blowing Sulu's communicator. I bet you two have been caught in a blizzard. Then Uhura says, don't worry, fellas, your secret is safe with me. Sulu out? What kind of Freudian nightmare is this movie? So this is the famous campfire scene, which is one of the better scenes in the movie. Except for the part where they sing, row, 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 row your boat. I hate that song. I knew the guy who wrote it. He was a total hack. But the song is a perfect choice for the movie. Its metaphorical lyrics coincide with the plot. Spock actually questions the last line, life is but a dream, which of course is somewhat prophetic given the film's ending. But anyway, now we can finally focus on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, because we've introduced and gotten the other minor characters out of the way. Scotty is fixing the ship, Uhura is eating potato chips, and Sulu and Chekhov are vacationing with each other's assholes. Hey, wait a minute, if the ship is in shambles and doesn't work right, why is the whole senior staff on shore leave? Shouldn't they be up there working on, whatever. It's just logic. Who needs it? Certainly not Spock. Hey, Spock. Isn't it illogical to be sitting around a campfire eating marshmallows when you should be doing your fucking job? But anyways, this is a nice scene, and it brings us full circle back to our three main characters and their classic banter they used to have. It establishes their unique bonds of friendship, which will be later challenged by Sybok. We discover that Bones is a horrible alcoholic, Spock is a racist, and Kirk gets a little emotional with his best buddies. He says that even as he was hung by wires in front of a rear screen projection, he knew he wouldn't die, because his friends were there. He said he always knew he'd die alone, possibly later in the movie when his friends are gone, and a smoke machine shoots laser blasts at him in a Hollywood backlot. But the point here, this is a fine scene. The three main characters are back in their classic Trek form. It's lighthearted as well as emotional, and all seems well in the Trek universe again. We got the Enterprise back, Kirk is once again the captain, and we're ready for a new adventure. Oh, then there's the rest of the movie. And don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily mind the story to this movie. In fact, I kind of like it. It's a pretty classic Star Trek concept in that it deals with issues, rather than just action. But like Star Trek Insurrection, it might have been more suited for the small screen. What I like about Star Trek V is that in the future, and in this movie, the final frontier doesn't refer to space. It refers to religion or God. Sybok is a religious zealot in search of what is essentially heaven, going against his own people's beliefs and his embrace of emotion. At this point in the movie's logic, we know we're not alone in the universe, so there really isn't anything else to tackle topic-wise, other than the idea of God or a creator. It's admirable Shatner and Star Trek attempted to make a film on this subject, but unfortunately they did it in a rushed and clumsy way. The script was all over the place, and no one really seemed to agree on much. Shatner actually wanted Sybok to ride on a pink unicorn, and there was supposed to be a fire-breathing rock monster at the end. No, I'm not kidding. They built a rubber suit and everything. And at every step of the way, the studio was chopping this and that out, and the movie ultimately suffered from a script that, while it had good intentions, wasn't smart enough to correctly relay all the ideas it wanted to do with the time and money it had. I will take this, though, over what I've seen from the new J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, Into Darkness, which appears to be another revenge film. The last 3 Star Trek movies have been revenge films. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you more. Now I'm back and I'm gonna get you even more. Star Trek V at least wasn't that. It was an awkward movie that looks like a retard made it, but it's not about revenge and smashing things. I'm filled with so much hate I don't know what to do with it. Usually I turn it into murder. Or complaining at the post office about the price of stamps. It's getting ridiculous. So everyone's going to sleep now in the woods. Isn't that cute? I hope they ate all those beans McCoy made, or else you'll get a bear snooping around your campsite. I went camping once, and a bear came into my tent. We talked for a little while. He told me he liked to steal picnic baskets. It was kind of cute. He also said he once ripped apart a little boy in front of his terrified parents. He said his fur was stained with blood for weeks after that because he bit right into his neck and ripped his whole upper torso off. It was quite the story. What? McCoy? Too many marshmallows, no. Too many of McCoy's beans. Quit farting out there. By the way, that's the Voyager 1 spacecraft that Claw's about to blow up, which if I'm to use something called science, it means that a bird of prey is fucking right next to Earth. Now this is not to be confused with the Voyager craft that they find at the end of Star Trek The Motion Picture. That was a fictional Voyager 6, supposedly launched in the late 20th century. But really, NASA only made 2 Voyager spacecrafts, and they're out floating amongst the stars. Anyway, NASA launched the Voyager 1 probe in 1977 to study planets in our solar system. On June 15, 2012, it was finally leaving our solar system, heading into the interstellar medium. It's estimated by NASA that at its current speed of about 35,000 miles per hour, the Voyager 1 spacecraft will reach our nearest star, Proxima Centauri, in about 40,000 years, which is about 2 light years away. So Star Trek takes place in the 23rd century, just a few hundred years from now, meaning that in this time, Voyager 1 is probably just barely outside of our own solar system still. In 2025, it's estimated that all the power will be dead on the craft. It also probably won't scream like people when it gets shot by a laser blast. Science! What a joke! No, I'm not discounting the possibility that years, decades, or centuries from now, maybe the Voyager craft got sucked into a wormhole and deposited somewhere near Klingon space, but probably unlikely. This scene is really just for fun, though, and I'm just being an asshole, because that's what I do. Look out, it's the pervert police! What are you guys doing sleeping in the woods together? You're grown men, for God's sakes. Oh, you're on vacation or something. So Kirk didn't bring his communicators so that Uhura couldn't find them, right? Did Spock and McCoy not bring theirs? Seems a bit out of character for Spock. But anyways, I guess Uhura just flew the shuttlecraft around with the giant spotlight on. I guess just kind of looking for them in Yosemite Park? Bitch must have upset a lot of people doing that. If only that shuttlecraft had a horn on it, Then she'd be just like my goddamn neighbor at 3 in the morning. Here she goes now, she's picking somebody up. Hey, cut it out. Quiet out there. It's fucking 3 in the morning. God damn it. So here's the shot I mentioned of the Enterprise floating by the moon. What I discovered was that this was just some special effects test footage. Shatner saw it and they just decided to use it because it was close to what they needed. They just put it in the movie because it looked good enough. Yeah, that's true. No one asked if the Enterprise was in Starbase or just floating around wherever. Nobody really cared where it was at. Sort of like the VA and my checks. Look, I served in 3 or 4 wars, and they always mail my check to the adult video store down the street. Their address is similar to mine, so I guess I understand. But I gotta go in there to get my mail sometimes. One time I went in there and I ran into the pastor from my church as he was leaving. That was real embarrassing running into him because I haven't been to church in weeks. They go up to the Enterprise and they land in the new shuttle bay, which is like 20 times smaller than it should be. The set looks so fucking bad it kind of looks like the oil change place I go to. Oh, by the way, there's that one science fiction device in the background. You know, the one from the last Starfighter and Next Gen episodes? That thing gets around more than my new wife. And yeah, she's cheating on me already. We got married just last week. Ironically, she's cheating on me with the science fiction device. She calls it a dildo. I says, what does that thing got that I don't? She said about 10 inches. Has there a computer monitor on its side? Really? Look, watch when the doors close. You could see like the last frame of a looped graphic on the screen linger for just a half a second before the turbolift starts moving. I can just picture some tech guy in huge 80s glasses plugging in the monitor when some other guy in huge 80s glasses points at him. Oh my god, you couldn't just put a piece of plastic in there? Build some kind of simple rotating light system? You know, kind of like how they had in the original series in 1966, when the budget for the show was $3,000. It's not just this, though. In a minute, you'll see Scotty's control panel shake when he lets go of it, like it wasn't on a completely even surface. And then later, when Kirk goes to talk to Spock in that observation room with the giant ship's wheel, keep your eye on the doors. You'll see a slight hesitation by one of the guys before they slide the doors open. Then in this next scene here, you'll see Spock press some buttons on his science station, to pull up the image of Sybok on the monitor. Watch carefully as he presses a few random buttons. Then there's like a slight pause before the guy in the huge 80s glasses, probably wearing an Alf t-shirt, behind the set plugs in the monitor. The timing is just slightly off. It's really subtle, and only a crazy person like me would notice, but this movie is filled with all sorts of stuff like this. Here you'll notice that the view screen looks dim in these shots. That's because it's an actual view screen. It's like projected on there and not keyed in. And there's so much light on the set that it looks dim. Actually, projecting it on the view screen and shooting it in camera saved the money from doing compositing. But boy, oh boy, does it make your movie look like a piece of junk. The track on the wall holding up Kirk, Spock, and McCoy when they stand on Spock's space boots is a real bad one. It's obvious to everyone that they're just standing on a platform because they're floating right next to the wall. They're not even floating in the center of the shaft. These special effects tricks are not what they call movie magic. Movie magic is when you say, huh, so that's how they did that. The effects in Star Trek V are just awful. It's like a magician where you can clearly see how he's doing a trick. And just to be clear, I'm not talking about the spaceship type effects, even though those are terrible too. Like how the Enterprise's warp nacelles or impulse engines don't light up, because the model was broke, so they just left it. I'm not even fucking kidding you. I'm talking about all the practical stuff. Shatner himself said most of this budget went to talent, so they had limited time for retakes and effects. If a door opening looked wonky, or you could see a seam in something, or a cable pulling a stuntman, who cares? Just leave it in. Get the shot and move on. So this Klingon Claw is a younger Klingon. He's just looking for a fight. He's angry because his ship's visual effects look so terrible. So he wants to blow something up and have it look slightly better if possible. Maybe if he attacks a Federation starship and blows it up, the effects might just be on par with an Ed Wood movie. So that biker chick Klingon gets the news about Nimbus 3, and our plot is off and running. Now for some reason the Enterprise is falling apart, or was put together poorly. Maybe it was made in China by Romulans. I don't know. Nothing works right. And it's funny too, I guess, because everything looks cheap. It's like the Kia of the Federation fleet. Maybe it's an inside joke because they knew everything looked shoddy. I'm not sure what the purpose of any of this was, except to have a reason to not be able to use the transporters to rescue the hostages. A better solution would have been to have a cool fight scene with the Bird of Prey when the Enterprise arrived at Nimbus 3. They got their systems damaged, but they cripple the Bird of Prey so it has to come back later. Or you could just say Cybok activated a transporter scattering field or something like that. They always pull that crap. But whatever. The Admiral guy tells Kirk that despite the Enterprise not working properly, he still wants them to go on the mission. Because while they do have other ships, they lack experienced commanders. Huh? Other captains aren't experienced enough for this basic rescue mission on a desert planet? The hostages are even being held by a goofball nutjob. Their mission seems pretty straightforward and simple. And Kirk's plan ends up just being them going in with an assault team. And he actually goes in with the assault team. Him, his science officer, Mr. Spock, and his chief medical officer. Maybe they probably shouldn't go on an assault mission. Leave the elderly doctor back on the ship. Don't send him in with the troops, okay? Experienced? Yes. Tactically smart? No, not really. Okay, everyone, watch the doors, watch the doors. Now I like this new set. This galley reception room set or whatever it is. Even though you could clearly see the Next Generation hallway sets outside the door. But I guess this is sort of like the 10 Forward for the new Constitution class refit. It's a space that was lacking in the other movies. I guess in Star Trek The Motion Picture they did have that very large bizarro game room or recreation room or whatever it was. But that was the 70s and everything was weird. This room feels a little better, and I like the touch of the old-timey ship's wheel. But as for this scene, I get that this movie is about the bonds of friendship and whatever. But why is McCoy here? He says 2 lines and Kirk looks annoyed at him. This scene would have been a little better with just Kirk and Spock. But these 3 assholes just stay together the whole movie. Bones, don't you have anything better to do? Aren't you the ship's doctor? Why don't you go to sickbay? Don't you have any patients? It's time for physicals, everybody. Bones, I need my prostate examined. Put your finger in my asshole. Speaking of separating people, later on Spock, Kirk, and McCoy all get thrown into the brig together. Like Cybok knew these 3 were best buddies or something. He didn't throw Uhura or Sulu in there with them. Guess maybe he knew because they were all old. But you know, they're strangers to him. How does he know? Whatever. Now, I usually don't offer suggestions on how to make a movie different. My job is to nitpick and complain about what they did. And with this movie, offering suggestions would make this commentary 27 hours long. But a neat idea would have been to separate McCoy and Spock from Kirk. Have Kirk, since he's the captain, taken off with Cybok privately. Cybok could try to persuade him to join him, and those 2 could debate all sorts of things. Maybe even show a meaner side to Cybok. A passionate Vulcan that can also embrace anger and violence. Meanwhile, Spock and McCoy are stuck in the brig together. At first they argue and insult each other, but then decide to work together to escape. Some banter and other clever ways for them to escape would have been good. Meanwhile, Scotty works tirelessly to fix the transporter on the Enterprise D. Don't worry, Kirk, when he's all done, he's gonna get to work fixing the transporters on your Enterprise. Hold on, Leonard, quit playing Tetris, you're on camera. Oh wait, that's the actual graphic. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. This is an actual scene in the film, like a crew member hooked a Nintendo up to the screen as a joke. And apparently this is a real shot in the movie too. The little shuttlecraft heading down towards the planet. And another thing too, they cut from the shuttlecraft approaching the planet to the interior of the craft. And we don't see the planet through the window, just black. Apparently this planet with wind and sky and breathable air has no atmosphere, and is pitch black. They just drape a black cloth over the shuttlecraft set and say, whatever. It's space, it's dark, no one will care. Fuck this cheap-ass movie. Hey, you remember that movie Aliens? You remember that scene with the Sulaco and the dropship? Like the Space Marines, Kirk and his Space Marines are also going into a battle scenario. Except in this movie, they just have 2 shots of a cartoon shuttlecraft flying by. In Aliens, you've got this gravity drop, which is kind of awesome. Numerous exterior shots of the ship being pulled towards the planet, rushing through the clouds, loud booming sound effects, a shaking interior set. You feel like you're really on the craft. The way Ripley and her friends go down to the planet isn't what's important, but it helps to create the tension of what's to come. This shit here does nothing but make for a calming situation. Now you say to yourself, maybe Aliens had a much bigger budget to work with. Nope. It was $18.5 million compared to $27.8 million. Jesus Christ, where did all the money go? I'm surprised Kirk's twin sister in a wig didn't show up.
Oh, hi, Captain Kirk. I'm staying on the Enterprise for a few weeks.
Hey, Spock, did you bring your Starfleet issue covert tactical binoculars? You know, the ones with the pointless red light on them that can be seen from miles away that give away our position? Why, yes, Captain, we're using them now. Although these pointless blue lines are obstructing my view of possible enemy positions. Let's go into battle. Not sure whose brilliant idea this was, but talk about awkward. This is the famous Uhura erotic dance scene, and let me tell you, I've been to a bunch of strip clubs in my life, and I ain't never seen shit like this. This is the best dance I've ever seen. The moon is indeed a window to heaven. Does heaven mean nightmare? 'Cause I mean nightmare. Jesus Christ, the scene is like finding out that Freddy Krueger is going to be your urologist. The thought of that is scary because I'm sure Freddy Krueger has little to no medical training. Whatever. You gotta give Uhura something to do, other than Scotty. Get that black bitch up there to dance! So I guess Kirk, Spock, and McCoy and a bunch of Starfleet soldiers ride into the camp on horses to save 3 hostages, 2 of which are not their concern. Maybe that retarded asshole admiral should have sent a starship with a working transporter and just beamed the hostages off the planet. Sybok actually had no defense for this. His plan was not very well thought out, and I've dabbled in interstellar terrorism myself. But the thought here was to do the movie in an old Western-style adventure or something. A fucking wagon train to the stars. Don't let the technical details get in the way. I mean, maybe they really didn't have any experienced commanders able to do this basic mission. You know, fly a ship in orbit and beam a hostage off and then fly away. But Kirk really didn't do a good job anyway. He could have used his invaluable skills as a, quote, experienced commander and maybe attempted to negotiate with Sybok. Maybe Sybok just wanted medical supplies or something. But instead, Kirk chooses force as the first option, not a secondary one. Anyway, they ride into the camp and Sybok's goons start shooting machine guns at them, which starts some kind of war. Sybok also had no contingency plan for this scenario. I guess he didn't consider the option that the Romulans and the Klingons might attack him in order to get back their diplomats. Klingons or Romulans are not known for attacking anyone. They're known for peaceful negotiations. especially the Klingons. I should join Starfleet. Admiral Plinkett here. James Kirk, I want you to go on a mission. Oh, your ship is fucking broken? Okay, I'll call you back. Let me get somebody else. But all lapse of logic aside, I understand movies. And I know this stuff serves two purposes. One, it's a mid-movie action scene that we desperately need to stay awake. And we also need to get Sybok on the ship to advance the plot. But I mean, it could have been written 100 million ways, but this is the way they chose to do it. But the problem is Kirk makes all sorts of amateur mistakes, like telling Uhura to come down with the shuttlecraft before he knows what the situation even is. Uhura then apparently lands it in the middle of the town square and opens the door. There's no plan, no communication with the ship like, Enterprise, this is Kirk. We're meeting heavy resistance. Also, Uhura, stay away. Kirk's sort of like, let's just ride in there in a whole bunch of horses and see what happens. Now this, my friends, is the best scene in the film. It's when the cat lady fights Kirk, or rather jumps on his shoulders awkwardly. Remember the cat lady from earlier? The actress in the costume they borrowed from the play Cats? The one with her tail being lifted up on fishing wire you could clearly see? The one with 3 tits? She's back, and now she's attacking Captain Kirk for some reason. She jumps out from behind the bar and attacks him. But in any case, she makes it sound like a skipping James Brown record mixed with a cheetah or something. And then she just suddenly dies when Kirk throws her into a pool of water. She doesn't appear to suffer any injuries. She just dies because the scene needed to end. This scene is also in the movie because Shatner feels that Kirk always has to have a scene where he gets a pussy wet. Maybe the cat died when she fell in the pool of water because she's like the Wicked Witch. I'm meowing. I'm meowing. I don't know, that's all I got. The government is taxing jokes at a much higher rate this year, so I've got to use them sparingly. Interesting fact though, did you know that James Doohan, aka Scotty, is missing a finger on his right hand? Yeah, it's true. He got it shot off during the invasion of Normandy. Yeah, I'm not joking. James Doohan is a World War II hero who helped win the battle at D-Day. Although later he lost the Battle of the Bulge. Oh, excuse me, my phone's ringing. Hello? It's my accountant. Bad joke tax? What? How much is this gonna cost me? What the fuck? So now because Uhura landed the shuttlecraft in the town square in the middle of a war zone, Sybok is able to take control of it, and thus have access to the Star Trek Enterprise. This is also where we get a little information that Spock knows Sybok, a little more personally than just being aware of him. But I find this interesting. Spock tells Sybok he's under arrest for 17 Neutral Zone Treaty violations, and of course Sybok and all of his followers laugh. If you'll notice though, David Warner, who's playing the Federation ambassador, who got brainwashed by Sybok and was pointing a gun at them earlier, he looks stern and upset. Wasn't he converted to the Church of Sybok? Did he just not know what was happening in the scene? Did Shatner not tell him what his motivation in the scene was? Him and the Romulan chick look confused. They look mad. The whole Sybok brainwashing thing has always been a little quasi to me. Sure, you could release someone's pain and make them feel better, but does that mean that they're like your mental slave forever? Especially like hardcore military types like the Starfleet officers? I mean, I know Chekhov once had a slug inside of his brain, and even then they were kind of questioning whether or not they were doing the right thing. I don't know, seems like a rush job. Speaking of rush job, I think Kinko's has my Christmas cards done. I gotta get them out. There's only 11 months till Christmas. I told them I needed a 1-day turnaround. She told me it cost me $197. I said, fine, I gotta get these in the mail. She said Christmas isn't for 11 months or something. And I said, bitch, do you know how slow the postal service is? And then she looked at me like I was a crazy person. And I'm not, right? I don't think I am. My friend Charlie in my brain tells me I'm not. He tells me everything's gonna be just fine. Just keep plunging the knife in. The more you cut, the more it helps.
Charlie says so. Do it.
What just happened? There's blood all over the Kinko's counter. I like how in the 23rd century the tactical controls of a starship is just a small screen with Nintendo graphics on it, and that Scotty has to hunch over to see it. The information presented on screen is that there is a bird of prey somewhere in a box, which I guess means that it's somewhere near them? Oh Christ, how they haven't gotten blown up yet in this movie is beyond me. But then again, the bird of prey uses a periscope, so I guess things balance out. This is an okay sequence though, despite the bad effects. It's the closest thing we have to space adventure in this film. I guess the bird of prey does fire on the Enterprise at the end a little, but this is a fun scenario. Get the shuttlecraft back on the ship before the Klingons come and blow everybody up. Kirk's caught between a rock and a hard place. Cyborg don't want to go down to the planet, but he can't get their shuttle back on the starship without the Klingons blowing them up. They gotta do a thing where they time out the landing and the lowering and the raising of the shields before the Klingons fire. Plus, they need to keep using that shuttlecraft in the shuttle bay as much as possible because they built it, and it cost half the fucking budget. Also, additionally, I never understood why the Klingons had a cloaking device too. Seems perfectly fitting for the Romulans because they're sneaky and dastardly. But the Klingons? All their ships really should just be gigantic warships with tons of guns all over them. Sneaking up to attack someone seems more cowardly, less honorable. I think they addressed this in Star Trek somewhere once. And a Klingon said, "Winning the battle is the biggest honor of all," or something to that effect. Klingons should be politicians. They BS a lot. Anyway, conceptually, this is a fine little action moment. The issue again is the execution. They seem to be limiting the visual effects shots to save money, so the result is that we don't really know where anyone or anything is. They show the bird of prey on the little monitor screen and Scotty just says that they're closing when Chekhov asks about their position. The Klingons then say they're 8,000 Kelly-cams away. What the fuck is a Kelly-cam? Okay, then to not show the bird of prey and I guess to add tension, the Klingons cloak. So the idea is that they're out there somewhere, but we don't know where. So far this is working, but then it gets a little confusing. The Klingons hear that Kirk is on the shuttlecraft, so they alter their course, decloak, and then it's about 40 seconds real time until they fire. Just quite a long time. After they decloak, we don't get an idea of where the ships are in relation to each other. They're sort of disconnected effect shots. It's like, hey Bob, or Bill, or whatever your name is, we need a shot of a bird of prey flying towards camera.
Okay, we'll get right on that after lunch. Okay, everyone, you heard him. Back to work.
Then they make the effect shots as ordered. We don't get a wide shot of the Enterprise and the planet and the Klingon ship. I guess it was all just to make the scene tense, I don't know. Or just general incompetence when constructing an action scene. Why did it take the Klingons 40 seconds to fire? Where were they? I mean, you needed the time to show the shuttlecraft crash sequence, but the intentions of this whole scene was a fun little moment when they had to time out their plan and outsmart the Klingons. Lowering the shields, firing the impulse engines, crash landing, and then jumping to warp before the Klingons knew where to fire. The key ingredient missing was where the Klingons were. The sequence works in concept, but it's just so poorly executed. It's rushed and sloppy and missing so many pieces of information it just falls flat on its face. Fails to work right. Bear on Enterprise? No, that was in Yosemite Park. It showed up to eat McCoy's leftover beans, but the smell of Spock's gas made it run away. Have you ever smelled a Vulcan fart? I have. It's not a pleasant experience. Oh wait, Vulcans aren't real. Well, I guess it was just Leonard Nimoy's fart I smelled. You see, back in the 1980s, I was once in an elevator with him. And Louis Anderson was there, Dom DeLuise, John Candy, and Orson Welles. While waiting in the elevator, we all smelled a hideous fart. John, Dom, and Louis all shrugged their shoulders. Orson raised an eyebrow at me, but I shook my head. The only one who didn't acknowledge the odor was Nimoy. Now we all looked at him. Then everyone looked at me to ask him. So I did. I said, Leonard, did you just... Then the cable to the elevator snapped and we all plummeted about 12 floors and crashed. You see, that's why I'm in a wheelchair. That and childhood polio. The moral of the story is don't ever get in an elevator with 4 huge fat guys. So here's what happens here. Instead of exchanging insurance information about the crash, Kirk and Sybok fight over what looks like a homemade gun. Conveniently, everyone else is asleep. But the point here is that Spock has a chance to shoot and kill Sybok, but doesn't. He can't muster the courage because Sybok is revealed to be Spock's biological brother. I like the moments when some humanity peeks through Spock's cold facade. The logical thing to do would be to neutralize the hostile force when you have a chance to do it. But for the reason of emotion, Spock doesn't kill Sybok. But the intention here was to give us more information about Sybok, and to present Spock with the moral dilemma. These are moments that make movies good too. It's not always about plot holes or flawless storytelling. Oftentimes it can just be a little moment like this that helps to deepen and strengthen characters. By the way, where's the whole crew of the Enterprise at? Scotty does say at the beginning of the movie that all they have is a skeleton crew aboard, but still, Sybok didn't have time to brainwash all of them, right? I mean, are we asked to actually believe that his announcement over the intercom did this? I mean, the problem is that you've got Sybok and only enough followers that could fit onto the shuttlecraft. You remember they had to crash the shuttlecraft into the shuttle bay? You know, to escape the attack by the Klingons? They zapped off to warp drive? They didn't go back. So it's like Sybok, the Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Sulu, the 3 hostages, David Warner, the Klingon, the Chinese lady, the guy with the bad teeth, a couple other people. I mean, how many fucking people can fit on the shuttlecraft? So then they're on board and they got Kirk, Spock, and McCoy at gunpoint. Scotty sees this through the little window. And then we don't see him again until he breaks them out of jail. How about this, Scotty? Start rounding up some random crew members with phasers to take back your ship. Also, he is the engineer. So how about locking out all the bridge controls? Or shutting down the warp drive? Who knows what this nutcase is planning to do with the Federation starship? Instead, Scotty just uses a bomb to break them out of the brig. It takes him like 45 minutes to make a bomb to do it. So Kirk, Spock, and McCoy get taken to the ship's brig, which is just a room where they're prevented from escape by powerful fluorescent light bulbs. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I love practical effects. But really? Are we supposed to believe that those are some kind of laser bars or something? Fucking really? You couldn't do some kind of effect here? Jesus Christ, where did all the money in the budget go to? Catering for James Doohan? Toupees for William Shatner? Like Next Gen just has a glowing blue light. Totally transparent cell door. But just a simple electrostatic zap type effect that indicated there was an invisible force field there. That's all you need. Then you don't gotta stare at this fucking terrible set. And you could shoot your actors inside the cell door without having fucking fluorescent light bulbs there. So it might be escape-proof for an elderly Vulcan with a gut, but not a 90-pound Chinese acrobat you may find yourself having to imprison. But what is it with Star Trek Brigs having all sorts of panels and doohickeys on the wall too? In that episode I, Borg, you know, the one with Hugh the Borg, Geordi attaches a thing to a control panel which allows a power surge for the Borg to eat energy. Why is that shit even there? But then again, the force field isn't really even a good idea. You remember that episode of Star Trek Voyager where Tuvok had to transport like 50 dangerous convicts in their cargo bay? This fucking genius makes 50 cages but with one open side for a force field. 'Cause I guess it's the future or something. And you gotta have a force field. But then later on the power goes out and all the force fields drop. Then everybody escapes. Why not just make fucking cages, you stupid ass? How about a room with plain walls and good old-fashioned iron bars? I don't know. I'm sorry I'm complaining. It's what I do. My doctor says I got a disease. It's called diarrhea of the mouth. I'm aware that's an expression, though, for someone that likes to talk a lot, but I actually squirt diarrhea out of my mouth. It sounds gross, but trust me, it's very convenient if you gotta go real bad when you're on the bus. I just carry around one of those plastic super gulp cups, and then I look around and I put the cup over my mouth, and then I unleash the Hershey squirts into the cup, and then put a cap on it and pretend like it's my drink. Some people notice the smell, you know, 'cause it smells like fucking shit. When they look at me, I just say, hey, well, that's my 7-Eleven Slurpee. I'm getting off track. What movie am I talking about? Matrix Reloaded or Matrix Revolutions? Which one came first? I don't even remember. Or Matrix Regenerated? Reloaded? The second Matrix movie was called Matrix Reloaded. And the third one was Matrix Reloaded again, or was it Matrix Resolutions? Matrix Revolutions. So the brilliant actor David Warner asks,
So, what do I do the rest of the film?
you stand there.
Oh, I stand here?
No. Well, you stand there now, but later on you stand over here.
You mean over there?
Sure, whatever.
Okay, well, do I say anything then?
No.
Okay, fine. I don't say or do anything the rest of the film then, eh?
No. At one point you might look concerned or something, but that's about it.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I have no lines. I just stand here. Well, what's my motivation?
I don't know, pretend you're in line somewhere.
You mean in a queue?
Yeah, you're in a queue. You're in a queue to get in the tube. You get the fuck out of my face, I'm busy.
Well, this film's a bit of rubbish, ain't it?
At last we come to it. 60 minutes in. It's the plot of the movie. Now, before they made this movie, there was some discussion to have Cybok's intentions made clear earlier in the movie. But they decided to keep it a secret until later on, I guess. Which was probably a good idea. Cybok just seemed like some kind of crazy terrorist who was going to hijack the Enterprise. Maybe he wanted to blow up the guy's house who cut his hair. But then later on we find out he's on some kind of peaceful, weird religious mission to find heaven. So when the audience finds out what the movie's about, that's when everybody groans. This is also when we scratch our heads at the science of the movie, which suddenly turns into something resembling a fairy tale. Cybok gives Sulu the coordinates to the center of the galaxy. Then we discover there's a magical blue goop at the center of the galaxy. Or something. I guess none of us have actually been to the center of the galaxy. We've only pointed telescopes that way. But science is pretty sure that there's something called a supermassive black hole there. All the stars revolve around it. Now, a supermassive black hole is not to be confused with the supermassive black hoe, you know, which is a large tool I use to garden with. Also, it didn't take too long to get to Nimbus 3 from Earth. So how the fuck does it only take 6 hours to reach the center of the galaxy? I don't know, even if you're just vaguely familiar with Star Trek or science for that matter, this is just terrible. Of course, we all know that Einstein says we can't go past the speed of light. When we approach it, things slow down and then stop. Sort of like what happens when I walk up to a nightclub.
Hey, buddy, out of line, come on.
Hey, I just want to get in and get my drink on.
This is Fusion, New Jersey's hippest nightclub.
This is age discrimination. I'm gonna sue you.
You looking for the old folks home? Come on, out of line.
Leave that guy. Where does
The old country buffet's down the street.
They won't let me into the old country buffet either. They say I'm too young.
What an asshole. Come on, fuck.
Don't push me, you motherfucker.
I'm 6'8" and 395 pounds. You're gonna fuck with me?
You're gonna fuck with me? I was in World War I and II. and Korea and Vietnam. I got a fucking Glock 9 pistol in my pants, motherfucker.
Come on.
And in the tip of my cane is a micronuclear warhead. Do you really want to fuck up New Jersey? So here we have what might be the stupidest sequence in the movie. They have to climb from the bottom of the ship to the top, which is to assume that the Enterprise is like a tall office building, which it is not. Now because Spock is lazy and fat, he sneaks off to get his Vulcan rocket boots, which I assume are also on the bottom of the ship, because he does know that they are being chased by bad guys everywhere, right? Additionally, those boots aren't really quiet. They sound like small jet engines, and you have that loud noise inside a metal tube that reverberates sound all the way through the ship. Spock, use your brain! Unless someone stole your brain again. Then you have an excuse, but I think it's back in your head. So yeah, Spock's Vulcan rocket boots. This is that scene. Kirk and McCoy climb on. Comedy? I guess, I don't know. So in the last film, Spock accurately calculated time travel space vector calculations on a rusty Klingon bird of prey, which was running on half-assed dilithium crystals recharged from nuclear waste. The ship was also carrying an extra person and a tank of water with 2 humpback whales. But here he doesn't seem to figure out that his rocket boots probably can't hold the weight of 3 people. Now I know this scene is for fun, but it kinda dips into stupid fun. Like this scene should be in a Naked Gun movie or something. Then this has always bothered me too. And if you want to call me a nitpicking little asshole, go ahead. Kirk and McCoy each clearly step onto a boot for support. Then on their POV shots, their feet are dangling, meaning they were both supporting their own weight with one arm. You see, Bones is using his right arm to support himself. That's the arm he was grabbing earlier because it was injured in the shuttle crash. So I get that the greater themes in this movie are about the bonds of brotherhood, man's desire to discover the unknown, or quest for spirituality. But what the fuck? 78 decks on the Enterprise? I can't tell you in how many ways this is wrong, but it's mainly 2. Number 1, decks don't ascend on a starship, they descend. Deck number 1 is the bridge, and then they number downward. And number 2, a Galaxy-class starship has 42 decks. How fucking big is this ship? Jesus Christ. Herman Zimmerman, Michael Okuda. Where the fuck were you guys? You can't expect Shatner to know these things. I mean, maybe they put him in the movie because they hated William Shatner and they thought it'd be funny. But really? And then there's a shot where they're flying up on the space boots, clearly attached to the thing on the wall. And then they go like deck 52, deck 96, and then deck 48, like there's a mistake there. Trek has always been a pretty seamless blend of characters, stories, themes, and technology. The tech isn't always consistent, but this is the most egregious mistake I think I've ever...
Oh, get a life.
What?
I said get a life, you loser. No one cares how many decks there are on the Enterprise, you fat homo.
I care. I also care that it's totally obvious that they're all attached to that track against the wall. Probably standing on some kind of platform.
Nerd.
It looks so terrible.
Fucking nerd. You're complaining about a movie made in 1989 that's totally obsolete now because of J.J. Abrams.
Well, welcome to the club, Palpy.
What?
The becoming obsolete because of J.J. Abrams thing.
I don't understand.
He's directing one of the next Star Wars movies. Probably episode 7.
What?
Yeah. I mean, you do know that Disney bought Star Wars, right?
What is a Disney?
It's a company that primarily makes children's films, cartoons, and like family entertainment.
What?
Long gone are the Execute Order 66 days, you asshole.
This is an outrage. I must confirm this lie.
Go ahead, confirm whatever you want. I don't care. I don't give a flying fuck.
Excuse me, can I borrow your phone?
Yeah, sure, here. Why?
I've run out of minutes on my jitterbug.
Now, this is the scene I was talking about earlier. Uhura tries to seduce Scotty or something. I guess it's supposed to be funny, but it's just incredibly awkward. Plus, they also ended up in the Enterprise D sickbay. I might be complaining a lot about them reusing next-gen sets, but it's kind of a sore subject for me. One, it limits your shots. This scene relies on a lot of close-ups and darkly lit backgrounds, which isn't how it should be shot. This is essentially a comedy scene, and comedy scenes need to be played out in wide shots sometimes. Showing Scotty trying to get off the bio bed awkwardly in a wide angle while Uhura pushes him back down would have been funnier. It's not funny in a tight shot with darkly lit backgrounds. This looks like a horror movie. Tights are for more emotional and intense stuff. And number two, it's cheap and lazy. I wasn't there, so maybe they had no studio space whatsoever to build sets. But really? Also on Wikipedia it lists the set construction costs for Star Trek The Motion Picture, which was about 10 years earlier. And they all come in at a little under $2 million. Bridge, corridors, transporter, medical, Kirk's quarters, office complex, cargo deck, Spock's entry area. What scene was that? The recreation deck, airlock, Ilea's quarters, planet Vulcan, officer's lounge, trench, wing walk, V'ger, San Francisco tram station, memory wall, Klingon bridge. And all that came in at a little under $2 million. Where the fuck did the rest of this budget go to? I hate this movie. I want to cry. So if there is anything in this movie that's good, or I dare say great, it's this scene here. I can't confirm anything that went on during the shooting of this scene or who is to credit, but we must attribute it to the director, Shatner. Ooh, I feel so dirty. I gotta go shower and be Arthur's urine. I only have a couple jars left though, so it's very, very sacred to me. But it does clean me off real good. Anyway, Shatner may be an egomaniac, but he's an actor first. Some may say not a good one, but that's what he's always been, going all the way back to his Shakespeare theater days as a young man. This scene is the centerpiece of the movie. It's a wonderful character sequence that's well lit, well shot, and well blocked. What does blocking mean? Well, it's the way the characters move around in the scene and where the camera is placed and all that. And that's the director's choices. I believe I talked a lot about this in my Star Wars Episode 3 review, which for a major motion picture looks cheap and lazy as fuck. Characters are just standing there talking or sitting on a couch. But William Shatner said this about this scene. The difficulty for the director is to keep the camera and the people moving so that there is motion, not just people standing still. That's an easier and faster way of shooting, to stand there and shoot them, but it's not cinematic. And you know what? William Shatner's right. Jesus Christ, William Shatner should have directed the Star Wars prequels, and George Lucas should have directed my nightmares. Okay, I'm not sure I get this scene. So McCoy kills his father? So what's the big deal? I guess 'cause he's a doctor and the whole euthanasia thing is controversial? I don't know. I've euthanized many people in my day. Mainly hookers. Some men too. I like to be an equal opportunity killer. But the hookers, they didn't ask to be put out of their misery. Nor did they have any kind of terminal illness. And it was entirely my decision. But it's kind of the same thing, right? In fact, during this commentary, I just killed my 13th wife. Or was she my 4th? She was complaining about having cramps, so I put her in a meat grinder. It's what she would have wanted. This scene, the camera movements and blocking is just perfect. It's a scene that separates itself from the rest of the movie in terms of quality, both emotionally and technically. I love the way the whole scene is done very theatrically too, by the lighting. Sybok is obviously using his mind powers to show them illusions, but it's done in a non-corny way. They could have just shown the scenarios appear magically with the visual effect, or like he mind melds them and goes in their head. and they fly into a green screen subconscious fucking magical land or something. But the flashbacks are done with this simple elegance. The stripped down effects work perfectly here, and I attribute that to Shatner's history in theater. And also probably because they didn't have enough money to do any more special effects. We get a peek into the pain of Spock and Bones too, opening up their characters some more. Bones has a regret for euthanizing his father, and Spock holds a lifelong shame of being a disappointment to his own father. These old gay guys really carry around a lot of daddy issues. What is this, a Wes Anderson movie? Kirk refuses to have his pain cured, because he feels that it's part of him. And he's right. The dialogue here also encapsulates the movie's themes as well. How we're all searching for something, the truth, salvation, our place in the universe. We're all explorers. Sybok is a villain, but not so much in the he wants pointless revenge and we have to punch him in the face kind of way, but he's an idealistic villain, completely opposed to our hero Kirk. Sybok is blinded by his own faith. He's an idealist, and for lack of a better term, a dippy free-love hippie shithead type. Kirk is a natural skeptic who relies on his gut instinct rather than some external belief system. He only believes in shit he could see with his own eyes, because he's an explorer. He's a military guy, and a little bit of a scientist too. He's also an authority figure that questions authority. Kirk says to Sybok that you can't cure pain by waving a magic wand, and then he basically tells him to go fuck himself. This scene and Kirk's resistance to this guy is the climax here. What happens on the planet with the god creature is the epilogue, in my opinion. But in this scene too, we also discover that Spock was born in a cave. Additionally, we learn that Spock's inner pain can also be technically described as daddy issues too. McCoy kills his father a day before they find a cure to his illness. Whoops! But Spock's pain appears to be that his father is ashamed of him because of his humanness. I'd say that was sort of resolved at the end of Star Trek IV. You remember Sybok grudgingly admitting that Spock's decision to join Starfleet was a good one? And that his human friends weren't so bad after all? I mean, they did risk their lives and careers to save his son. What an asshole. Then he's standing in a cave, and his poor wife is on her back on a rock, giving birth. And Sybok just says, "So human." Hey asshole, you knocked up a human. What did you expect, you filthy racist? If you hate humans so much, how come you're banging this human broad? Oh Jesus, I'm sorry. That didn't come out right. What I meant to say was, if you hate humans so much, then how come you're using this as a dumpster? Okay, that's better. I'm filled with emotion, and I can turn off any emotional connection to this Sarek guy. What a dick. At least they didn't do the whole Spock is tortured for getting picked on as a little kid, by other Vulcans for being a half-breed. Hey, you see? You fucking pathetic pacifist losers. Even in the 23rd century, in an enlightened futuristic society, we still have bullying. I was a bully in school. I used to bully little George Patton in middle school. I called him Wimpy Georgie Porgy, and I hit him in the balls with a croquet mallet. He told me someday he was going to become a strong soldier, and he was going to shoot my nuts off. So indirectly, I think I saved the whole world from the Axis powers in the Second World War. Yeah, you can thank me and bullying for that. Although Patton was true to his word, and he came back and he shot my nuts off with a machine gun. Anywho, so it's Kirk's turn now to get deep-pained, and he, rightfully so, calls Sybok a con man. Maybe Kirk was just nervous of them discovering his secret pain. Or maybe he just wasn't sure what scenario would appear for everyone to see. Like the time he put a laxative in Spock's coffee. Everyone on the bridge got a good laugh when Spock said, "It is illogical how many times I have to go to the can." Or the time in the academy when Kirk posted the test answers, only to discover that it was a setup by his superior. Everyone failed the test. Or the time he raped a yeoman. He told her that if she told anyone, he'd, quote, put a phaser up her cooch and fire it. It's not my words. I didn't. It's his words. It's a little embarrassing saying this. But you know, he was a young captain when it happened. He let the power go to his head. Besides, he always had those sexy young ladies everywhere bringing him reports, wearing those 1960s miniskirts. So, yeah, no thanks. I need my pain. And she needs it too, or else. By the way, I like in this scene that you can see that the Great Barrier is slowly approaching in the background. Such a nice touch added by the movie. Oh God, I think I went too far in a few places. Although it's stylistically designed to be that way. But what I can do is try to diminish the effects of it. Anyway, Star Trek uses what's called the warp drive, a propulsion device which creates a pocket around the ship outside normal time and space. It warps the space around it. A lot of people don't understand this, so I'll try to explain it. The best description I've ever read on how warp drive works is like imagine a toy car and it's on a dining room table. And that dining room table has a tablecloth on it. So you got the toy car on top of the tablecloth and you got this long dining room table. Well, warp drive bunches up all the fabric of the tablecloth into a little squished part. Then the car moves over just a little bit over all the bunched up cloth. And then when it's stretched back out, the car is on the other side of the table. Because warp drive bunches up and it compresses time and space, which actually pushes the ship forward. The ship never actually goes past the speed of light, goes sublight speeds, inside its warp bubble. Now you think I have no life and you're right. So warp 1 is the speed of light. Then after that, the speeds multiply exponentially. Our galaxy alone is so fucking large that even a fictionally created propulsion system still restricts a starship to taking 60 years to cross the distance at maximum velocity. They couldn't even come up with a fictional device that would be realistic. That's how big the fucking galaxy is. Say, this is a bit of rubbish, ain't it? There's a blue goop barrier and a completely scientific, unrealistic distance to cross in a few hours. It's sort of like this is a fantasy movie. But Star Trek has established itself as more scientifically accurate than, say, Star Wars. However, I'll be the first to admit that not all Star Trek has been 100% scientifically accurate. I have a feeling that they don't teach in science class that you could slingshot yourself around the sun to time travel. I mean, maybe a crazy teacher teaches that somewhere. However, if the overall movie works, we can kind of forgive a technical oversight here and there. But you know what? I'm going to stop complaining about the technical details about this movie and talk about something in the movie that is actually really good. The music. The score by Jerry Goldsmith is just fucking fantastic. It's thrilling, emotional, and it fits all the scenes perfectly. It's a shame that the music is used in this movie. But if this music was in a better film, he might have won an award, like Best Music in a good Star Trek film. Good work, Jerry. I bet the audience was excited to see what's going to be on the planet. The shuttlecraft flies through the atmosphere. Blue light slowly turns to purple. And then we end up in the desert of California. Should have just stayed on Nimbus 3. Cybok does say in a few minutes that this is exactly as he imagined, so I assume that means the creature living on the planet changed his perception of what he wanted to see. Kind of like when the caretaker alien in Voyager made them all see a farmhouse with a bunch of rednecks having a hoedown. It's like too confusing for human minds to understand. The Q Continuum did that too. So I guess maybe a Vulcan's idea of Shakara is a barren desert. But Kirk and McCoy's vision of Eden probably would have been a paradise, right? Maybe with some naked ladies walking around. You know, with pasties and leaves to cover up their vagoons. I guess no one is really sure what the fuck is happening until they get down there and look around. What I do know is that the crew and the director of photography made the best of the situation. They blew around smoke, put some filters on the camera, They did their best to make California look as exotic as they could, because really this is one of the bigger problems in the movie. It's like going from one desert planet to another. It's just so boring visually. So how are you guys doing? Everybody working on your taxes? I am. I got a lot of write-offs this year. Kitty litter, kitty condoms, kibbles and bits, a kitty abortion. I got my cat knocked up. You guys ever been to California? I have. It looks a lot like Nimbus 3.
I've called Disney, and it appears you're correct.
Oh, thank God you're here, Palpy. I have nothing to talk about right now.
What are you watching? It looks terrible.
So, you called Disney?
Yes, it has been confirmed. Everyone and their mother is making a new Star Wars film, it seems. Spin-offs. Master Yoda gets his own film. Wicket the fucking Ewok gets his own film. Boba Fett. The Adventures of Young Han Solo. Star Wars Episodes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Fuck. No one even knows the story yet, but whatever. It'll be called Star Wars, so it'll make money.
Are you gonna be backing them, Palpy?
Not sure. I did get thrown down a well and then blown up pretty bad.
Did someone say a new Star Wars movie?
Oh, moi. Misa called Jar Jar Binks. Misa read about this on the Yoki Day Computer Day.
Misa not worked since '99. Had a guest spot on CSI as an Italian with a rare form of jaundice. But other than that, no worky work for Boss Nass.
Moi, Misa Tusa. No one hired Jar Jar. Misa work in adult bookstore by truck stop.
Get out of here.
Will we come back in the new movies?
Back in the new movie?
Quiet, you fools. They will only want back the good ones, like Chewbacca, R2-D2, Yoda, C-3PO, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt, and so on.
You mean on the ones from the originals.
Yes.
Wait, shut up.
And unfortunately, that does not mean you too.
Oh.
Oh, moi. Misa kill myself.
Scotty, beam them up.
Boss Nass or child support. Misa fuck the Snooky.
Anyways, so here's the ending of the film. I suppose I should talk about it now. Purple filter and all. Cybok and his new friends are now down on this planet. The movie teases that they first find nothing, I guess to draw out suspense. Most people watching the movie at this point are asleep, so this might all be new information to you. After a few moments, Spock is about to console Cybok. He says, "Cybok," perhaps moments before the reveal of the monster, like he's gonna say, "Cybok, perhaps the rape won't be that frequent on the Federation penal colony. I mean, it is called a penal colony, not an anal colony." Or, "Cybok, perhaps you should have just rented a ship. I know a guy who could have given you a deal if you just called me." Or numerous other logical things that would have irritated him. But suddenly the monster is here. Or suddenly someone's shaking the camera. Now this, my friends, is where the movie turns into a Star Trek movie. No more cartoon shuttlecrafts, silly rocket boots, or Uhura dancing. All these stone pillars rise up out of the ground, and we're back in 1966, and I love it. This horrible set reminds me of the Guardian of Forever, a time portal made of styrofoam surrounded by Roman columns left over from Ben-Hur. A shitty confrontation with an all-powerful alien god thing on a planet. It's just great. It's just so terrible looking, I love it. This moron Cybok falls for it at first, but Kirk calls this alien out. It's really classic Kirk. Although I guess it's really good that this glowing monster thing only shoots mild uniform staining laser blasts out of his eyes, instead of something more deadly, because Kirk was getting a little sassy. Kirk probably should have known better given his command history. They've encountered creatures before that have turned the crew into styrofoam cubes and crushed them, zapped people out of existence. People have been killed by a Horda, a giant rubber thing on the ground, turned into a mummy by a salt vampire, instantly drained of all your red blood cells, and the list goes on and on. In fact, this might be the perfect time to mention that I consider the original series of Star Trek not to be a science fiction show, but a fucking horror show. The most awful and scary shit happens to people on that show. I never want to explore outer space. Fuck that. I'll just go out and explore my shed. Let me tell you, I found some weird shit out there that I didn't even know I had. I mean, who needs to find giant amoeba bacon that fly at you on strings and then eat your fucking face off? Or be forced to fight in gladiator games to the death, numerous times by supreme alien beings? If you got an old shed out back, that's all you need. You can just dig around in old boxes, find old oil cans, or a box of dusty playing cards, or old road maps in New Jersey from 1958. This is what man was meant to explore, not that shit. That's the shit my nightmares are made of. To boldly go where no man has gone before. Yeah, and that's inside some boxes in my shed. I'm the hero, not Kirk. You know how many spider bites I've gotten? I'm sorry, I've been drinking. It's not my fault. So this is that moment when God appears to them, or what they think is God. They do make an effort to shuffle through varying alien and human gods so that we get the impression that God is really faceless. But he chooses this face, because that's what he thinks they want to see. But why did God choose to look like the human or Christian idea of God, not a Vulcan one? I mean, half the audience is Vulcan there. But anyway, the real audience in the movie theaters is human, so I'll accept that. That's a movie thing. But this is again where Kirk shows that he's got the biggest balls in the universe. He starts confronting this creature that might actually be God, or just some powerful creature that can do who knows what to him. You know, like, given the precedence, this thing may or may not have been able to reduce Kirk to a pile of dust. It's like in that original series episode, Charlie X. There's this 17-year-old kid with, like, Q-like powers who can do anything he wants. Turns people into rabbits, makes people disappear from existence. He does all sorts of fucking horrible things. His power starts to get out of control. But Kirk just yells at him and disciplines him like a little bitch. I'd be fucking scared of that kid, that little Damien Omen motherfucker. But you know, in order to be the captain, you gotta take risks and you gotta be bold. You can't worry or overthink stuff. You just gotta act sometimes. And here Kirk does. He's got a question. What does God need with the starship? It's a good question, and it makes this God thing get pissed off real fast. He shows his true colors, that he's not God. He's just some huge blue asshole. Then Spock gets blasted onto the ground. Then he's like, Bones, do you question me too? And Bones says, nope. Those blasts may have burned Kirk and Spock's uniforms, but shit, Bones is like 115 years old. It might have snapped him in two. So Bones just says, no, I don't question you, God. Here are the keys to the starship. I'm not sure what you want to do with it, but don't zap me with that blue energy. I just had a pacemaker put in. McCoy, I want to talk to you about a land purchasing scam I have. I mean a deal. You want to talk about it? Give me a call. 600-acre horse farm. I'm gonna run a scam selling horse meat to Chinese restaurants. Yep, perfectly legal deal. So what do we do now, guys? Maybe we should leave. Run back to the shuttlecraft. Cybok, this is not the god of Shakara or any other god. It's just some guy in a comical god beard that I got at the Halloween Express. It's a good thing Kirk, Spock, or McCoy didn't do any of that LDS. Or they might be having flashbacks. Maybe they can talk it out of being crazy. I tried that once with Charles Manson. I visited him in prison. He kind of looks like this guy, actually. So I said, Charlie, do you remember that time you and I took that trip to Vegas? We walked the strip, and you told me your plans to be a cult leader, and I just laughed it off. I kind of regret that now. He was really just crazy, so I just left. But I love how the creature then reflects Sybok's arrogance right back at him. Sybok tells Spock he's gonna go, sacrifice himself so they can escape, which just means run away a few feet, which Sybok also could have done. But I guess he bought him time. I don't know what's happening. But Sybok has an action line. It's the only one in the movie. He says, I couldn't help but notice your pain. It runs deep. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. And then he jumps into the god creature and starts choking him, which he's really choking himself, which is kind of symbolic. Then there's a wonderful little bolt of electricity. It's so corny, but it works for some reason in a classic Star Trek way. Although I doubt that even the classic series would show the shadow of the cameraman on the three main actors and not reshoot this shot. It happens fucking twice! Then Kirk orders Sulu to fire on their position. Now I have two things to say about that shot. One, it looks like a fucking toy model, and two, the torpedo is green. I think that's all I have to say about that shot. Nothing technically wrong there, it just looks terrible. It looks like a high school kid made it for his video production class. Oh shit, someone blew up the smoke machine. Those cost like $100. Paramount's gonna have our asses here, gentlemen. Run! Run from the accountants. You'll get in trouble. They needed to use that smoke machine on Friday the 13th, Part 8. Oh wait, this is the actual movie. That's like an effect or something. The creature getting hit? Oh. Well, this is awkward. Oh. Well, I guess a antimatter weapon thousands of times more powerful than a nuclear weapon would cause the same amount of damage as a small fireworks explosion. So is that a direct hit then? If so, why did it not kill the creature? But then later the Klingon disruptor does. I don't know. I guess maybe the creature moved a little bit to his left. Maybe it's all just for suspense reasons. Like boom, oh snap. Even a photon torpedo didn't kill this creature. We're fucked for sure. Then later everyone forgot about that when the Klingons show up. Actually, I think theaters were totally empty at this point, so it didn't really matter. They could have ended the film with nothing but black for 15 minutes, and no film critic or anyone would have even mentioned it. But Shatner had a lot of different ideas for the ending, I mean, at first he wanted them to find the devil, but then they scratched that idea. So this compromise was made. Those giant pillars coming out of the ground were sort of like an extension of his idea that whatever this creature was could make rocks come to life. Shatner wanted like 12 rock monsters to come and try to get them. But then the studio said no. You can just have a few rock monsters. And then they said, how about just one rock monster? So they actually went and built a rubber rock monster suit that was supposed to breathe fire. And Kirk was gonna fight it. I think that would have been awesome. But they scrapped it and just said that the god creature was gonna fly around and shoot lasers at him. Whatever. So I guess Korg or Cord or whatever the fuck his name is had a payoff after all. The human and the Romulan chick didn't though. But if you look closely, you could see David Warner macking on the Asian lady. I think that was an outtake though. They didn't know the camera was on. It's like, hey baby, after we're done filming this fucking stupid movie, you wanna go get a drink? And she's like, Romulan ale, sure. And he's like, you just get out of character. Just cut that shit already. This is a fucking hack job movie. Spock then takes a moment to ask the fat Klingon if he's interested in being in his next photo project. He'd have to appear nude and covered in mud. It's erotic, but nothing sexual. Cord agrees, but he asks if he can be paid in KFC. You see, it's been outlawed on Kronos. Spock agrees and says he can get him at least a few dozen buckets of chicken. Cord then asks if they still have the KFC bucket that turns into a small portable toilet. Klingon stomachs aren't very tolerant of disgusting food like KFC. Spock isn't sure if they still make the KFC double down then sit down, or is it called the KFC chew and poo, or whatever it's called, but assures him on the chicken. A deal is then made. But Spock uses Gorgon's military rank to shut down the crazy Claw, and then uses Bird of Prey to save Kirk, in one of the worst effects of the movie. I like the Klingon model and all the detail on it, but the way it moves is weird, and the perspective is off. It looks 100 times smaller than it should be. Look out, William Shatner, cheap fireworks! Oh no! The cameraman fell asleep on the zoom controller. But anyways, Kirk says, "You bastards, you want to come down and get me, huh? And your tiny, tiny little ship. I know it's supposed to be about 500 times bigger, but it looks so tiny." And he's like, "You want to get me? Come get me, you Klingon bastards. You killed my son." And then they beam him up, and he's like, "WTF?" And then Kirk finds Spock on the bridge. And he's sitting in the captain's chair, which is probably like this huge disgrace to Claw. Claw probably fucking killed himself after this movie. He's letting these two fucking on his bridge. He let this old hack sellout Klingon steal away his glory for battle. If I were Claw, I would shove a dagger in my heart. I guess Kirk and Spock don't really care though, they won. Then there's not even a slight little mention like, "Hey Spock, here we are again on the bridge of a Klingon ship. Isn't that kind of funny?" Yeah, who cares? Everyone made out in the end. It's a happy ending. Kirk survives and the hostages are all okay. Only Sybok got killed, but he deserved it because he was kind of an asshole. But I really feel bad for this poor Claw guy. He's never gonna get with that biker chick Klingon. She's gonna look at him like he's a big pussy after this. I thought it was common practice in Klingon culture to murder your superior if you disagreed with them, or if you wanted to challenge them for command. Here, Claw had the superior ship, and this fat sellout Klingon was ordering him around? I would have made space debris of the Enterprise. This Cord guy was just out for chicken. But trust me, if you haven't pooped in a KFC bucket in some dirty alley, then you haven't lived. It's like fucking Roman times. You eat that greasy shit till you're full, then your stomach starts gurgling because it wants to expel the toxic waste. Then you go into the alley and shoot it all out of your ass like a fire hose. Then when you're feeling better, you go back for seconds. This Cord guy knows what's up. So the film wraps up in the galley set, where everyone is now friends and there's hors d'oeuvres and drinks. Although the rumor is that to save money, Paramount insisted on a cash bar. So what happened? I don't mean in the plot, I mean with the movie. Sybok finds out that he was a loser, and that Kirk was essentially right all along. And that makes Kirk the winner in the hero-villain sense. Blowing up the god creature was just a thing that happened, and people mistake that for the resolution of the film. It's not. It's about the conflict of ideas. People knock this movie a lot, but I prefer a conflict of this nature rather than we have to stop the bad guy before he blows up the thing because he wants revenge. Because revenge, which is going to be every J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. I think the theological ideas brought up in this movie were something interesting to explore, but I don't think Shatner was intelligent enough to do it. His heart was in the right place, but I get the feeling that no one really gave two shits about exploring the story at the time it was made. Even Gene Roddenberry, who was essentially a godless communist, so he didn't really like the religion angle, because Shatner originally wanted them to search for God, but instead find the devil. I like the compromise, though, that they didn't find any truth to religion or heaven or God. They just find a crazed monster alien thing that wants to get out of the California desert set of a cheap science fiction movie. But Star Trek V is a movie that's the closest to the original Star Trek series. It's a very classic Trek kind of plot where they find a weird alien creature on a planet. The other films are more action-adventure films, but this had more of a classic Trek feel. I guess even down to the cheap sets and production values. It reminds me a lot of the classic episode Where No Man Has Gone Before, where they also try to reach a barrier at the edge of the galaxy. I would have liked Star Trek V more if it spent a little more time with Kirk debating Sybok, and the conflicting nature of their characters were explored more. But instead, the themes of this movie are lost in a muddled mess of mixed messages, cheap effects, bad action scenes, failed attempts at comedy, Uhura stripteases, horses, rocket boots, etc. And did I mention very cheap-looking special effects? Something not so magical happened during the pre-production and the production of this movie. Just seemed like a film no one wanted to make, but Shatner. There were lots of differing opinions on the script. Harve Bennett, the producer, didn't want to do it. There were budget cuts. In fact, an interesting note on the production is that the Hollywood Teamster truck drivers went on strike. They had to hire non-union truck drivers, and mysteriously one of those trucks exploded. They had to drive the production trucks at night with a police escort. Damn Teamsters. Now, I ain't saying the Teamsters blew the truck up. You know, I wouldn't dare suggest that Teamsters are mob affiliated or anything like that. I love them. Trust me. No. Oh, fuck! Oh no, I'm in trouble now. I guess you could call that sabotage.
Maybe I should clear my nose out with a little
little something.
Yeah.
A little Drano, a little nose Drano.
A little weed, if you know what I mean.
Nick tapped his nose.
Yeah.
And snorted.
Yeah, I gotta do some weed later.
I gotta snort. I gotta chop up some weed.
Yeah, if you pardon me, I gotta go look at child pornography in the bathroom. Like, yeah, you know that's worse than cocaine, right? Oh, is it? Oh, I thought cocaine was one down from looking at child porn.
Damn. Yeah, that's how you get your fix. What if just looking at child porn and you didn't like it, right? But you looked at it and it did the same thing as cocaine. Would you look at child porn? But it was free.
Wait, you mean what if I looked at child porn and it made me look at child porn?
No. You go to the bathroom and you open up a picture of a kid.
I was making a joke about what cocaine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And you looked at a picture of a kid getting fucked real quick, and it made you feel like you just did some good ass coke. Would you look at child porn?
No, that's just being a pedophile.
No, because you're not getting horny.
Yeah. You're not into child porn, but you look at it and you get this incredible rush.
Yeah. Blood rushes to a certain part of your body.
Yeah. What kind of hypothetical is that? Adam's right, man. You really are bad at hypotheticals.
No, dude, I'm saying it makes you feel like you did coke, dude. Come on, man. Look, whatever. You spend money on coke. I'm gonna be doing it for free. Looking at child porn. All right. You
don't like looking at child porn, but you look at it because you have to because you're addicted to it. What do you do?
You get into a bad mood if it's been too long. Your energy level dips.
Right. You do it because you can't forget the 80s. Back when you had a sitcom. Back when you're on Rodney Dangerfield's Young Comedian special. And now you just moves from city to city, trying to get younger comics, impressionable younger comics, to watch YouTube videos of your act from 30 years ago.
Yeah, of Johnny Carson smiling at you.
In the green room. But not because you like it, but because you're addicted to it.
Because it feels like drugs.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. the actor who played Phil Leotardo.
R.I.P. Phil Leotardo. R.I.P. The Montgomery Gentry.
Dude, R.I.P.
Montgomery
dude. So
Burns
many
from
legends.
Montgomery Gentry died.
So many legends falling in 1 week. I don't know if we can handle it.
Death comes in threes, dude.
Fuck you,
How
2017.
dare you look at my truck? Don't look at my truck. I'll look at your wife. It's the greatest Montgomery Gentry.
Yeah, Nick and I were watching. One night we were watching like a ton of.
They don't want me in the neighborhood because I keep cold rolling all the Mexican folks.
Yeah, all their music videos are like. It's like they're like trying to say that
When
they're real
you're
men.
drunk, everything's a political statement.
Yeah.
You just get drunk and pretend they're mad about a birth certificate.
They're all like upper middle class and mad, like they don't want like fag Democrats to move into their neighborhood.
I get
It's not
it.
even fag Democrats. It's other Republicans, but it's like Republicans that tuck their shirts in.
Yeah, that don't like mudding.
Yeah.
And what did you say? Pitching machines?
Yeah. That's who's gonna replace. Who's gonna replace it? It's just gonna be a pitching machine that fires baseballs on his neighbor's lawn. And that pitching machine, it's got a trucker hat and an entire pack of parliaments that it's smoking through.
Oh God.
Don't you ever look at my truck. My truck, if you look at it, I'll kill you. Oh, fuck. Just
R.I.P.
every song, yeah. Nah, Brooks and Dunn is the best, though. Nobody could beat Ronnie Dunn in terms of being a fucking just complete insane.
If he didn't have that velvety voice of gold, he would just be a guy at a bus stop.
We watched an interview with him where it's like,
We're
describe
talking
your
about
song.
cities?
He's like, describe your songwriting process, and he's like, for me, it's like everything comes down to, there's experiences, and then there's, because growing up, all the places I live, there's in New Mexico, Arkansas, all the places I live with my family, my grandmother, and when Texas stands out in my mind, I think more of like a San Antonio vibe, something. Because that to me, that is San Antonio. Something more or less along those lines. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It sounds like by the tone of his voice, like he's answering the question, but it's just It's
He's
just
rambling.
the ramblings of bus stop vagrant.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. When I wrote the song, "She's Not Your Girl, She's Your Lover," I was imagining you're driving down a dark, dusty road one night, and you start thinking about the time you spent in a wood shop as a young boy. There's times where sometimes you get a piece of what you want, and it's a different way, you understand, than it was the other time.
Yes.
I'm out of time. Thank you.
God bless America.
Next question. The sweets factories.
Oh, yes.
Remember those? In the malls?
You guys were talking about it before. I remember Auntie M's.
Auntie Anne's, you fucking piece of shit.
That's a
Auntie
pretzel
Anne's.
place.
It's nothing even
That's
close.
the pretzels place. No, what am I
Sweet
thinking
Factory is this fucking candy store with big ass plastic tubes. They had a ton of fucking delicious shit in there.
Yeah, it seems
No, what am I
excessive.
thinking of? The lady's name? Ethel M's.
No.
Oh, maybe that was a West Coast thing. Never mind.
No, you're making it up.
There's a chocolate store called Ethel
Well,
M's.
if you're from the West Coast, I got 2 words for you.
Get the fuck out.
You're gay. Yeah, you better believe you're gay. California, more like suck my dick. Is that?
Yeah.
Ronnie, tell us more about your latest song, California, You Can Suck My Dick. When I was living in Texas, probably now 1977, and I thought to myself, what would be the experience of somebody living in a different place? And I thought about, a place like California. I thought that sounds pretty gay to me. That seems like it'd be a pretty gay experience.
Yes. I've never heard one of those songs.
No, the
You
single,
should listen to
God Must Be Busy.
God Must Be Busy.
Well, there's an Amber Alert. Yeah, no, it's God Must Be Busy is like, it's a list of all these bad things happening, and then the hook is God must be busy.
But there's no clear political perspective. Like,
yeah, it's like
he goes through like, oh, the job, the shipping,
Yeah,
the jobs on.
Did we talk about this on the one right before I left?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe.
we're repeating a lot of material here because somebody doesn't respect the note taking process.
Yeah, you gotta respect the list.
That's my stand.
The time being, I'm going back to just sleeping on the floor.
I love it.
I already test ran it. I'm still good to go.
That's your roots.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wake up. Yeah, you put just a little futon mattress. It's perfect. You know, I mean, the only reason I had it was women's fault that I had furniture.
Absolutely.
Guess what, bitch?
Yeah.
No headboard.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing now. Now the apartment will be empty.
You need to. You need to go back to like a, like a beach chair, PS4,
Yes.
and an enormous television on the floor.
Yes, absolutely. That's it. BYOC when you want to come hang out at Nick's spot.
A stack of High Times magazine.
One of them, yeah. Pizza boxes that you've made furniture out of.
I had a friend, Andrew, when I was like 17. He was like 23, and his roommate was probably 24, 25. And that guy's room was so funny.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because it was like, literally like a fucking twin-sized, disgusting mattress on the floor with like just a single comforter that would like make its way halfway across the room, stack of High Times magazine, and one of those like boom boxes for Mexican.
Yes, dude.
That's just in like
a Magnavox.
Right, that's in like the broken electronics section of Best Buy.
Yeah.
Just shit that's like open box and fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a real cool
Iowa.
Guatemalan boom box.
Right. It's very defined, the base. It's circles.
Yeah.
It's like it's like red. Red circles.
High Times magazine, a lot of infected mushroom coming out of that room.
God.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And, yeah, no, that was a hilarious setup.
I've never been a floor mattress guy, but I do go box spring, and I've been low mattress, and I'll be low mattress for the rest of my life because of I like the height it is when you fuck. I like to be able to stand up and fuck from behind.
You had a box spring, and it looked like that. Stop getting in bed. Looked like that video of that bulldog that couldn't get onto the pool chair.
It did not look. I haven't seen it. It did not look like that.
We're gonna pull that up.
But it was. But it is cute when I get into bed.
It's
but
cute when you miss
when
the
I
bed and
successfully
fall back
get in. I don't miss it.
He misses.
I don't never miss my own bed. That's why I like a low bed.
Yeah, here's Stop trying to get into bed.
Oh my God, it's adorable.
I haven't seen the video.
You literally have that ass.
Oh hell yeah, that is me. But I get in.
Literally,
no, that's you trying.
That's me sneaking into pussy. That's me getting my dick in pussy.
Look, here's you trying to get into the right position.
Oh,
watch, here comes.
Let the people get some of the music. Yep.
This is from.
Here's Stop getting up in the morning.
Tell them the link.
He fell off the chair.
So you can follow along at home. That's a bulldog in a beach chair.
Yeah, if anyone wants to watch it, Nick found it on the Woof Woof Facebook page.
Which he is a moderator of.
I am a moderator.
Did I tell you I had a roommate, John, that I lived with him for
Fake
like
name.
a year and a half. This is a fake name. And I lived with him for a year and a half, and he's like, actually, I'm the moderator for the Facebook page for Seltzer.
Yes.
Yeah. We never had Seltzer in the house or anything. I was like, you don't even like Seltzer that much. He's like, it's all right, actually. But I was like, why'd you start the page? He's like, they didn't have a fan page for Seltzer. I thought they should have one.
Did he ever fuck off of that?
Off of his Seltzer thing? No, I don't think
you should be able to get pussy off of doing something like that. Or a couple dollars.
Yeah. Ronaldo Fink Mullen.
Yeah.
What was your fake baby's name? Was that it?
That was it, Ronaldo Fink.
That was so awesome.
I still can't believe how many of those.
For everyone that does, I don't know if we've talked about it, but Nick, when he first moved to Baltimore, pretended to have a son on Twitter and Facebook, and then like 3 days, like people were like congratulating him, and he did a couple bits about him, and then I think he got tired of it, so you just said he died.
Yeah.
And then you did an RIP post
in a beer fire.
Yeah, he said he died in a beer fire.
But I was posting all this bullshit about how I can't afford like a crib, so he just sleeps in my like laundry basket.
yes. And we were like, ooh, geez, I don't know about this. And you posted an RIP status, and you used Jadakiss. Was it Jadakiss RIP? Who is that?
Is it Jade? No, that's not Jadakiss.
No.
That's
Oh, RIP, we just killed the club.
Yeah, that's Jeezy.
That's right. Yes, Young Jeezy. And you posted RIP my beautiful son, Ronaldo McMullen.
RIP.
And you had a link in the YouTube video to that song. RIP, we just killed the club. And then like people, I remember a couple different people came up to me personally and were like, hey man, I've been trying to reach Nick to give him my condolences for his son. And I was like, what
It's like, bitch, I'm at the club. You can't reach me. R.I.P. We just killed the club. Patron out the cup almost killed a thug. R.I.P. R.I.P. Just listening to that song because your son died.
Fuck. A little funeral, a little baby funeral.
No, I remember when we went to Tom Myers' album recording.
Yes.
And I saw him, and I was like, Tom, you have any drink tickets? You know? And he's like, no, they didn't comp any of my stuff. And he was like, oh, congratulations, by the way, on your son. I was like, what? He was like, congratulations on you having a son. And I was like, oh, thanks, Tom. Yeah.
God damn. Like, you now would be a horrible father, but you then, it's like, would be criminal negligence to have a child. It would be so fucked up.
Yeah, dude, just living in that clown's house.
Yeah. You're a raped army clown. You and your son sharing a 3-bedroom with a raped army clown. His ex-wife, his drunk ex-wife.
So
I want my head to be cut off by the cartel.
I hope not. I hope that
by
doesn't
the cartel
happen.
or by ISIS?
I don't know, but I feel like that would be a nice warrior's end. I'm out in my field.
A decapitation.
I'm out in my field, doing dumb sword bullshit in the rice paddy.
Mm-hmm.
Remembering my days as a samurai and my dark warrior past.
Yep.
And then, my son, who I have no emotional connection to, is like, Father, there are visitors at the gate. And then I look over and it's the Shogun.
Shit.
And I'm like, go inside. Tell your mother to lock the door. I have one last thing I have to do. And then they just cut my head off.
Damn, you wouldn't fight back? You wouldn't go to the barn under the haystacks for your secret sword?
I'm an old warrior, dog.
Nah, you got to go out with the sword.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
You can't
You got to take a guy out on your way out.
It's got to be real hard to get a clean slice. You got to go 2 whacks at least with a sword.
Samurais know how to do that, and they respect each other. I wouldn't
respect your executioner too much to try and kill him.
Yeah, well, because I've killed this guy's entire family. I killed his brother.
Yeah,
samurais were all gay, right?
They were pedophiles.
They're pedophiles.
But back then it was just called, Ronin.
Respect.
It was called. I love Ronin children.
That's what that show Ronin Warriors
little boys
about.
in the ass.
I love Ronin little boys.
Ronin the assholes.
Ronin
their asses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we do have to go. Nick's got a little business to take care of.
Yeah. Fuck, I wish I was a shogun.
You will be someday, dude.
Just drinking sake, waving my fucking blades around.
Isn't that reckless behavior from a shogun?
No, just the shogun. I've got sake. I sit in my fucking temple or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my goons with me. And I have this boisterous exterior, but inside I'm tortured because I realize that life isn't as satisfying as I thought it would be.
Wow.
At the and I'm like I'm sort of like a King Solomon character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I've acquired all this wisdom and gold,
and all this pussy,
it's meaningless to me.
Yeah.
What I really want is to be out in the fields,
getting my
head cut off.
Yep.
Yeah.
In some beautiful fucking underwear.
Didn't he get Me Too too?
Yeah.
Who, Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, pretend to be Rain Man. And definitely a nice pair of titties. Definitely a nice.
Please suck my penis.
Yeah, there's 30. I got 32 sperms and you put in your mouth.
Can I rape you? Please let me rape you.
Yeah, very good nipples. You got very good nipples. Yeah, excuse me, ma'am.
Very brown asshole. Very brown asshole.
I want to tongue your asshole.
That was like.
Damn, that is the best.
That was one that was.
I want to do that for an hour.
Yeah. Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman. Can a retarded man get head from strangers? What the hell is wrong with you, Ray? Brain Man.
Brain Man.
New Line Cinema presents a touching story about a retarded man that just wants to get his dick sucked. Definitely a nice pair of lips on that bitch over there, Ray. Definitely a nice. His name is Ray.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Charlie. Can I suck that woman's tits? God damn it, Ray. I didn't bring you to Vegas to fuck whores. Yes, you did. Oh, right, I did. Brain Man.
There's no other plot. He just takes a retarded guy to fuck a whore in Vegas.
That definitely some good pussy here. Definitely.
Oh, shit. I love Brain Man. Damn, that's a good. Yeah, because if you pretend you're retarded, you can just plead criminally pedophilic.
I'm sorry, Charlie. She's 8. I didn't know she was 8, Charlie.
Are you kidding me? Numbers are the only thing you understand.
God damn it, Ray. You love counting and fucking. How the hell did you fuck this up? Definitely got my dick too hard. Definitely was too horny.
God damn. Oh, we should start our own movie studio where we make Brain Man. We make Brain Man happen. Yeah. We just take turns playing Dustin Hoffman. It's just different actors.
It's like that Mitchell and Webb look sketch where the two actors can't decide who gets to be Sherlock Holmes and who gets to be Watson.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
So like every time the camera changes, they've switched.
Oh yeah.
That's hilarious. Damn, that was basically the bit I was going for in my head.
Yeah, no, they're funnier than you, and it's a good show.
Yeah, no, they're not funnier, but it's
Mitchell and Webb look is better than Peep Show. I know you can't really compare
disagree.
The two.
Yeah.
Of course you disagree.
Well, one's
You're
a sketch show, one's a sitcom.
I was literally just saying you can't really compare the two because they're different genres, but Mitchell and Webb look is funnier.
I don't know. Peep Show, I think, is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is good as hell.
It's so funny.
I got something funny for you right here.
What's that?
My fucking clown-ass dick.
Clown-ass dick?
I got big-ass shoes on my...
Your balls? Your balls have big-ass shoes?
Yeah.
You have that Patch Adams nose at the end of your dick?
Mm-hmm. A lot of big red dick episode.
Definitely a red dick. The first time I saw it.
Wow, crossover.
Why are you in here? When did you get in here?
Yeah, when Brain Man came into the prison, I knew I was going to fuck him. What's your name? Candy Dufresne? Definitely a good nickname for me.
Holy fuck.
The strawberry.
Damn, folks, that's why you play the games for Candy Dufresne.
Wow.
That's what you do it for, man.
We should end the episode.
The Strawberry Shortshank prison. The Strawberry Shortshank redemption.
Come on in here. There's some good pussy over here.
When Candy Dufresne first came into Shawshank. That was until he was raped by the sisters.
Yeah, the sisters.
Mm-hmm.
The gay villains.
The gay villains. That's
Perfect metaphor for society.
Was it?
Maybe I should clear my nose out with a little...
little something?
Yeah.
A little Drano, a little nose Drano?
A little weed, if you know what I mean.
Nick tapped his nose.
Yeah.
And snorted.
Yeah, I gotta do some weed later.
I gotta snort. I gotta chop up some weed.
Yeah, if you pardon me, I gotta go look at child pornography in the bathroom. Like, yeah, you know that's worse than cocaine, right? Oh, is it? Oh, I thought cocaine was one down from looking at child porn.
Damn. Yeah, that's how you get your fix. What if just looking at child porn and you didn't like it, right? But you looked at it and it did the same thing as cocaine. Would you look at child porn? But it was free.
Wait, you mean what if I looked at child porn and it made me look at child porn?
No. You go to the bathroom and you open up a picture of a kid.
I was making a joke about what cocaine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And you looked at a picture of a kid getting fucked real quick, and it made you feel like you just did some good ass coke. Would you look at child porn?
No, that's just being a pedophile.
No, because you're not getting horny.
Yeah. You're not into child porn, but you look at it and you get this incredible rush.
Yeah. Of blood rushes to a certain part of your body.
Yeah. What kind of hypothetical is that? Adam's right, man. You really are bad at hypotheticals.
No, dude, I'm saying it makes you feel like you did coke, dude. Come on, man. Look, whatever. You spend money on coke. I'm gonna be doing it for free. Looking at child porn. All right. You
don't like looking at child porn, but you look at it because you have to because you're addicted to it. What do you do?
You get into a bad mood if you don't live. It's been too long. Your energy level dips.
Right. You do it because you can't forget the 80s. Back when you had a sitcom. Back when you were on Rodney Dangerfield's Young Comedian special. And now you just moves from city to city, trying to get younger comics, impressionable younger comics, to watch YouTube videos of your act from 30 years ago.
Yeah, of Johnny Carson smiling at you.
In the green room. But not because you like it, but because you're addicted to it.
Because it feels like drugs.
Check and show me your penis.
Check out a picture of penis.
Give me baby's penis.
Suck 1, 2 inches. Suck 1 or 2 inches.
Suck 1, 2 inches.
Suck 1 or 2 inches penis. Welcome to Meerschaum Karaoke. This is our first night here at EJ's Landing Running.
It is our first time. Welcome to everybody with a 1 or 2 inch penis.
My wife, she left me for a man with a very big black penis.
Disgusting black penis.
A big, disgusting black penis. I used the divorce money to buy a karaoke.
And now I have quit job.
I've come. If we will do songs all night, and if women have a good time, in my friend. Harry Arjoy, he tells me...
That's right, Harry Arjoy. My name is Harry Arjoy.
He tells me that if I run a karaoke night, I will become new pussy.
You will be getting the most of the new pussy.
My penis will become into a new pussy. Because women, they love a man who is...
My friend...
He does music.
I do the music, I do the karaoke, I hire a guy, I play guitar, but underneath it's midget.
Nobody gives a shit. Start karaoke.
Shut up.
The drinks don't go to $2 until you start the fucking karaoke.
Get out.
That man, do not have sex with him, ladies. You are only allowed to behold the penis to me. On your pussy is to become to me.
It is to us only and no one else. Definitely nobody with a big black penis.
Okay, let's get it started, shall we?
First, let's get retarded.
Let's go. Put your name in the bucket, and then we will draw everyone. I've not done this before, but you.
I've not do the karaoke.
Is there a bucket, or do you? Oh, you just line the names up. Okay.
Everybody get in a line.
I'm going first. I'm singing Violent Femmes. Let me go on like a blister in the sun. Let me go on. Big hands, I know you're the one. Give background. Bill Harman, background for me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Behamadan Khaled is
show me your pussy, bitch.
Let me go on like a blistering
Boo!
I can't remember which part is
Get these Indian homos off the fucking mic.
which part is the whisper. Barry Hammond, when do I do the whisper?
We do the whisper when the girl show you.
How about you do the whisper and then I will do the big part?
Okay, I can do that.
Let me go on.
Like a pussy in the gay
Like a blister in the sun.
Let me have sex.
Like a blister in Nissan.
Like a blister in Nissan.
Like a blister in Nissan. The words are on the screen.
Shut the fuck up!
Be quiet!
Shut the fuck up, you motherfucker!
I only know how to read Turdu. I never learned how to read English, which is why I lost all the money in the divorce. Because the contracts were all in the English and not Turdu.
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 I speak Turdu and Pisani. I'm from Iran. Now, this is my kind of song.
Dring, drong, dring, drong, dring, dring. Boo! Get the fuck off!
Blinded by the light, revved up like a doze, another in the night.
Jump!
Yeah. Might as well jump.
Might as well jump.
You fuck jump, do it. Just fucking do it.
Jump, motherfuckers.
Please fuck me in my ass. I am so drunk. Just had 3 Diet Cokes.
Oh no, now we are drunk and maybe everybody can fuck our ass.
That's, I don't know if that's allowed.
We're sorry, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm the fat drunk girl at the bar.
There we go.
I will suck both of you off to get off this
Get
stage.
out of here, bitch.
Why?
I remember
You're
being
fat.
at EJ's Landing at karaoke one time, and there was this woman that was like probably like 43 years old, fat as shit,
Respect.
like overalls and a side ponytail, like
yes.
hanging onto her Blossom look.
Big respect.
from 20 years
I love
earlier.
that.
Singing Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
God,
of course, dude.
The floppy hat legend.
EJ's Landing was truly a time capsule.
Contraire is
Now,
great.
au contraire, I was laughing about a guy being like, you see, I prefer my bitch to be O-sexual.
O-sexual is so fucking good.
What really gets me is when a bitch is O-sexual.
You had an incredible stoned thread yesterday. Andre's
Steakhouse. It's like a steakhouse, like it's like, so the setup is like it's the Outback Steakhouse guys are like, we had huge success with the Outback Steakhouse without ever having gone to Australia. What are we gonna do now? And they're like, well, I don't know. Australia is like a pretty good theme. Like, what can a lot of people relate to that we have no experience with whatsoever? And one guy's like, black people. What if we do a black people themed steakhouse? And they're like, yeah, let's do like a middle-aged black guy themed steakhouse called Andre's Steakhouse.
Yep.
You can only get the steaks well done.
Yeah.
You know, the doors and the bath deck, because that's the key. Any kind of themed restaurant, you got to figure out the bathrooms immediately. You know, what's your fun name for?
Yes.
So instead of men and women, it's females and fellas.
Yeah. The appetizer menu, what's that called?
It's called foreplay.
That's right. And how about their wine?
Oh yeah. They only have one type of wine, the house wine. It's called Your Most Expensive Wine. It's $18
a bottle,
and then the only other beverage is Heineken.
How do you order this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they don't have waiters. You have to order through a Bluetooth headset.
Hell
and then
yeah.
a guy across the restaurant will lower his sunglasses at you to let you know that your order is been received. And then once you finally get your food, the waiter brings it up, and then he stands at the table next to you the entire time you're eating, and he says, "So you got to give respect to get respect. You can't get respect if you're not giving respect, but you have to have respect first, and that starts with self-respect. So if you don't self-respect yourself, you know how are you gonna? If you don't give yourself the respect first, how you gonna give the respect to other people?" And then once you've given respect to them, they give it back to you. That's called the economy of respect. Yes, I also teach at the community college. Business 101. The 0 in 101 is a $.
Fuck, man, I love Andre's Steakhouse, dude.
Oh man, I want to go there.
Yeah,
Let's
be
listen
pretty
to
good.
Let's listen to some TD Jakes tapes, dude. Get our lives together.
about a show called Top Queer, and it's 4 British guys that try out having sex with different kinds of exotic Italian men.
That's good. And
Yeah.
they're tops?
I'd tune in.
Who's the top?
Yeah, I'd tune.
British guy?
I'd tune off. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd
yeah.
really tune myself off.
I'd tune my cock like a old-timey radio, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I love dialing my tube in. You know?
Yeah, I love dialing up my tube, hitting the right frequency, and just tubing the fuck off, soaking my tube up.
Man, that shit is gonna be funny to me for so long.
Oh yeah, we're gonna lose maybe $3,000 for the amount of time we say tube.
I'm getting my fucking tube dialed in.
Fucking tube dialed in. Tube dialed in is really good. Dial is great. Dial's really good.
Oh fuck.
I just want to fucking stuff my tube into some square. I would lazily stuff
fuck.
tube today, though. I can't fuck today.
Yeah, right. You're not getting.
I'm trying to do it.
I can't get hard today for
not
sure.
Even close.
I'm trying to do a solid number on my tube later.
I know we've been trying all morning, Adam.
Wink.
God, it's been so fun podcasting and
Would
having
you get?
sex.
Yeah. Would you get Stav hard as a friend? Not to fuck Stav, but to help him so he could go out into the world.
Sure.
Right. That's so
like
nice.
putting
do that for
like
you.
putting
A friendly
mittens on him.
fluff.
Yeah.
Putting mittens on him and butting his coat up and saying it's a cold world out there.
We do it all the time. Post podcast, we all get each other hard, prepared for the world. I hear Nick's gonna go hang out with a girl. I fluff him. I fluff the tube up.
Yeah,
I get him ready.
dude.
That's what friends do.
I like to get my tube prospected, by my friends.
I want to die, dude. I feel horrible.
Is there any way I could get my tube serviced here? Oh man, I'm gonna call up TV repair places and just say that, and have them just be like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah.
No one really talks about it anymore. It's fine.
I love Donnie. Dear Donnie, thank you.
Wait, was it you, Nick, that was saying that there are fidget spinners for executives and
Oh no, yeah, somebody
the heads of state?
Somebody tweeted it. Yeah, somebody tweeted this Reddit. Oh fuck! I don't. I would like to give credit to whoever fucking found it. I wish I could remember who found it. Maybe it was CJ or something. But it was like.
Let us know. We'll give you retroactive
No,
credit.
wait. It was at Tiny Baby.
Oh yeah.
I think. I mean, he usually has pretty good.
That guy's good.
Pretty good Reddit polls, but it was. Yeah, it was like the top post was so we all have autism ? Exclamation point, and then somebody responded like, "I'm tired of this attitude. There are some fidget spinners that cost more than $300 that are designed for executives and presidents." It's like, would you call somebody autistic for driving a Mercedes Benz?
for executives.
First of all, that's literally the only president would be our president.
It's like,
That's it.
wow, look at that executive with his $350 fidget spinner and his $400 Mercedes Benz. I wonder if that man's going to be president someday.
Potentially.
We have to get the most expensive fidget spinners now.
Yeah, it's also like sometimes CEOs have autism.
Yeah.
It's like, would you call a guy with a Mercedes Benz autistic? Like, yeah, if he was autistic, if he was driving around the Mercedes Benz playing with a fidget spinner, then yes, I would call him that. In fact, I would make a point to, because fuck him for having that car.
Absolutely. They don't deserve those kind of riches.
They don't.
They don't have the brain developed enough to enjoy them.
The thing is, they got a mentally retarded brain. It's something I learned
They
about
don't
them.
taste sweets. You know what I mean? You can't. Everything's sour to them.
Yeah. They when they hear a song they don't like, they get itchy, and that bothers me. You ever see their behavior? There's one of them who rides a bus around town for free. Gives me the willies. They say he's real good at math, but who the fuck likes math?
See, I don't believe that shit either. I don't think they know math.
Yeah.
They like to pretend, they gotta tap into your brain. They a different wavelength.
Basically, my theory is, the doctor says to you, your son's gonna have, autism or whatever. It's one simple solution. You take a power drill, put it into the top of the skull, fill the hole with acid.
Yeah.
LSD?
No, with chemicals. Hydrochloric acid.
Oh, kill him.
You're stealing from the... Yeah, kill him. Painfully. That way you make sure the next kid you have fucking knows better.
You drill it, you give his brain room to expand. This is too fucking small.
Yeah, you're trapping him.
I think
He's got that little retard brain. You put a couple chicken livers on top of his brain, and it fucking fuses.
To get liver in his brain?
Yeah, meat. His meat is brain. What do you think brain is? You think brain is
meat.
fucking muscles?
It is.
No, it's fucking meat.
It's the most powerful muscle.
I got a fucking muscle for you, pal.
What?
This fucking salich.
What's a salich?
Oh my god.
Salich? What is a salich?
What is salich?
My fucking a bazon.
The Italian
My
guy.
fucking bigadillion.
The Italian guy that doesn't even know the made-up Italian words that other Italian Americans came up with.
Fucking rogatini.
My fucking disadice. Like, hey,
Bigadilliano.
don't you mean another thing we made up that isn't actually
Fucking
Italian?
brazo.
Brajol is one.
Fucking brazo.
Oh man, that's good.
Oh, that's a good guy. That was
Look,
really
Angel
good.
looks a lot like Stone Cold Steve
We've
Austin.
definitely said that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
When
I
you
like
say
about
we, you mean me? Did I say
No,
that?
I think I said
No,
that
you didn't.
actually. No,
No,
I
you
think it was me
didn't. No, you
actually. You know what? Sometimes I have thoughts and opinions.
Yeah,
You know?
that's true. Usually they bring the show to a screeching halt.
Not at home.
That'd be
not
like your-
with,
that'd be
not
like
at the
your-
people listening and laughing.
That'd
but
be
you
like
just
your,
can't see that.
your villain name is Screeching Halt.
And it's me, the Screeching Halt. Last week I saw another Criterion film.
Oh, shut the
and it
fuck
was
up,
very interesting. Let me tell you
Wherever there are rifts
all
gaining
about it.
momentum, the screeching halt will strike.
Dude, fuck you, dude.
Here
Nick,
comes
Nick's
the
been,
Screeching Halt
Nick's been going to
to
film.
rob the bank by repeating the criticisms and reception section of a Wikipedia page for a movie I just saw.
Oh,
The
fuck.
Screeching Halt strikes again.
Yeah.
I just saw that Tom Hardy movie.
This is my sidekick, Tidbit. Come along, Tidbit.
Okay.
No, I thought I was Tidbit too.
Shut up. Yeah.
I'm my own sidekick.
These are elements of your personality that are actualized as villains.
That would be cool.
Yeah. You
And I'm the
fall into-
hero.
You were like
The anti-Semite. Yeah. Look out, citizens! It's a very boring man.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm not boring.
Trying to get his coins cleaned at the bank, even though we all know that's not a service.
That's the origin story. You fell into a vat of coin cleaning solution, and then you separated into Tidbit and.
And then I got really clean. What are you
Shut
talking
up, man.
about?
It doesn't matter. Don't you read?
And then
comic
all
books?
dude, don't you read comic books?
oxidation
Yes,
came off, and I
yes,
was shiny.
Yes.
And beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's right. I watched that Tom Hardy movie.
Which one?
Bronson.
Yeah, it's great.
That's a fucking cool ass movie.
It's
dude.
good to look at his body in that movie.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what
I was looking at.
Nick did.
I actually haven't seen the movie.
He's got a.
Why don't you tell us about the critical reviews, Adam?
Yeah. What did people
Tell us
think
all about
it?
Bronson. Why are you
critical review?
Why are you in? Why are
You were like literally saying last episode that you went to fucking Film Forum to watch a French New Wave film.
I went to
that is pretty gay.
to
Yeah.
Metrograph.
Metrograph.
And I said
sorry.
nothing about it. You assumed I got the title of the movie wrong.
No, I misheard you saying the title
did
of the
not
movie.
mishear.
Yes, I did.
I'm sitting
No, he said
2.5
Lola.
feet away from you. Did you mean
Oh yeah, I
Lolita?
guess the words Lola and Lolita are very
Oh,
different.
shut up.
Yeah, those are incredibly different words.
I
I'm
just told
sorry.
you what I did. I didn't-
And yeah, I'm
Anyways,
looking
hold
for
on, hold
another
on.
famous movie / book
Whatever,
that
man.
would be shown at Metrograph.
Did you know it was also a book?
That's right, boss. It is a book. Originally, it was a short story written in Russian, and then his friends told him to write it in English because it was so good.
Very good, Tidbit. Very good. They're all asleep now.
Yeah,
you're born to make that money.
Yeah. Dude, you should be an executive. Dude.
I should.
CEO.
You should be a
become
corporate
one
executive.
of those Wall Street homos.
yeah.
One of them faggots down on Wall Street.
Those fucking Wall Street Marys. What happened to Mary as a term for gay guy? I don't
know. I still use it.
I like that.
Nancy boys.
Yeah.
I like Mary.
My favorite is Animaniacs.
What happened to those wackos?
Yeah, we got a couple of Animaniacs.
Down on Christopher Street.
Just sucking each other's cocks, Animaniac style. We're the brain of Brainiacs?
Brainiacs.
Yeah.
They give each other
we're the
brain.
Animaniacs, yeah. Can't wait to get into each other's slacks.
Slack, yeah.
Well, we got baloney in our slacks.
When I see your little dick, it makes my
bigger dick hard,
prick.
and then we dock each other.
I was at a show, and some guy asked me if I'd heard of docking. I think he was propositioning to put my penis in his penis.
Remember we were doing the Guido guy walking around the street. We passed by that doctor's office, and we were like, "Yeah, I got something you can dock right here, pal." Like the Guido doesn't know what he's saying.
I got something for you, pal. I got a big uncircumcised hog.
Once you come dock, I got something you can dock right here.
Yeah, I hear those dreamers are trying to dock their dicks.
Ooh, politics.
The Adam Friedland Politics Hour.
Yeah, you're listening to the Politics
You're listening
Faggot.
to a gayer version of Chapo.
This is the Politics Faggot with Adam Friedland and Timothy Joshua. I'm here with my co-host Adam, and today we're just gonna say it. Donald Trump is a fucking That'll stop him.
That would be incredible. If some little nebbishy bitch called Donald Trump the N-word just on MSNBC.
Yeah,
if Rachel Maddow was like, enough is enough, folks.
That's how we're gonna get her. Is we're gonna change the definition of the N-word to mean Donald Trump.
Listen, guys, Dangerous Donald didn't work, so we're gonna start. N-word Donald.
N-word Donald.
N-word Donald is the new one. Okay. We really missed the mark with Dangerous Donald. We really did. He's got all his fun nicknames for people.
I have it on good authority that we have permission via Beyonce, via Hillary Clinton, that we're able to say it. I have the email from Robbie Mook right here. It says, "Go ahead, blast those ends away." Right at Donald. We're gonna take it to him.
Hell yeah, dude. That will take him down.
Yeah.
We should try
I don't care what anybody says. I am not.
When that app came out where you can change people's races, and then they took that option away after 3 days because they were like, "This is just a blackface app."
Yeah.
Someone did me, and I looked a lot like Don Cheadle.
I saw that picture.
As a black
you didn't
guy.
look like Dan
I
Cheadle.
thought I
looked
looked
ugly.
I look like Don Cheadle.
You look like an ugly black
I look
guy.
like
Don Cheadle's a movie star with a lot of charisma.
Nights.
You
didn't
look like an
look
ugly black guy with a fucked up Junos.
But Don Cheadle has sort
No,
of
he
that.
doesn't.
Yes, he does. If you look closer.
Now you kind of look like Morgan Freeman playing a sharecropper.
Yeah, the one that's ratting out the other sharecroppers for trying to free themselves from that fucked up economic situation.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the look in your eyes.
Morgan Freeman has stuff on his face, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he fuck his daughter or granddaughter?
He fucked his daughter and his stepdaughter.
He's the greatest actor.
Seriously though, because Woody Allen's getting it big time for his Jewish crimes.
Yeah,
But
Morgan Freeman had sex with his whole family.
seriously, didn't he do something weird? I thought he did for real. This isn't ringing a bell to either, you motherfucker.
No, I don't remember that at all.
I think he fucked. Yeah, he fucked someone bad.
He fucked someone bad?
Someone that he should not have fucked.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Thank you.
There was a weird thing he did where he slid it into a.
She's like somehow related and much younger.
Yeah.
And we just let him get a pass because he's got that good voice.
Incredible voice.
It does.
If there's one thing I can't stand, it's fucking people I'm not related to. The first time I saw my stepdaughter, I knew I was going to fuck her. Well, now, Miss Dufresne, why don't you come over here and take a seat right on my cock? Why do they call you red? Well, take a look at it. Oh, that is red. That's pretty red.
A black ass dick and the reddest dickhead you've ever seen in your life.
As this is how Santa Claus finds his way into Mrs. Claus's pussy. My cock.
He has to do that because the women he fucks still believe in Santa Claus. It's the only way he can relate to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time I had sex with my daughter, I knew. It's like a different Shawshank. It's just for sex offenders. That morning, we cleaned the roof, and because we did such a good job, the warden brought us all a bunch of frosty child pornography. Nothing like a nice cool glass of suds while masturbating to child pornography on the roof of the home for the criminally pedophilic, Shawshank, Alabama.
Criminally pedophilic. Yeah, not me. I'm not criminally pedophilic.
Yeah, you get away with
I
it.
dabble pedophile. The hobbyist. I'm a hobbyist pedophilic. Yeah, so you know what, Adam? Why aren't the Jews sort of like, hey, you guys are taking our guy down?
We should take down
What about
Morgan
you?
Freeman.
Yeah.
Because we're natural criminal defense attorneys.
That's true. You're
not
right.
trying to.
You're making too much money keeping him out of
course,
the home for
we're
the
not
pedophilic.
trying to take the money out of our pocket.
How about a movie?
Criminal defense racket.
How about a movie where Sean Penn's character from Carlito's Way, Kleinfeld, is roommates with Sean Penn's character from I Am Sam?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's the one where he has like an afro, right?
Yeah, it looks like
he plays. Yeah, he plays. He looks like Phil.
He looks like Phil.
He's playing Phil, basically.
Yeah.
It's Sean Penn being like, "Oh boy, Carlito, I'm on a real jam here." It's like, why didn't they just hire a Jewish actor? This doesn't make any sense.
I thought he nailed it. It was very anti-Semitic, which is, I guess, what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so, yeah.
The movie's an Italian playing a Puerto Rican, and then like an Irish guy playing a Jew.
Mm-hmm. Right. And he already had Pacino play a Cuban in another movie, in Scarface.
Yeah, I love that line in Carlito's Way when he's like, I just know that if they catch my Puerto Rican ass above 87th Street, my Puerto Rican ass.
I think that's right around the time where
rules, man. What a fucking retarded career.
I think that's right around the time where he got bad, like where he just screamed.
I remember seeing Carlito's Way when I was a teenager, and I was like, awesome.
Of course.
It's boobs, guns.
Carlito's Way was in there.
My boy John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
It was on HBO a lot, too.
I straight up love John Leguizamo.
Me too, man.
He's great.
Me too.
When he shows up in John Wick, the first time I saw it, I'm like, hell yeah.
God.
Hell yes.
I love John Leguizamo.
That little ass mustache.
Yeah.
Salute.
I met him on a plane
What's that,
once.
punk? Look, I work with your father, all right? I don't know you. When the guy calls him
I love
a bitch.
that movie's the best movie.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite movie is Kill Bill, and my second favorite movie is John Wick.
Yeah.
Really?
I thought your favorite movie was Ice Cream.
That's not.
Tom's favorite movie is the Let's All Go to the Lobby to Get Ourselves a Snack video that plays.
Yeah, that's
Just
a good
woo!
video. The production value is
Clapping
good.
loudly.
Spread.
Modeling opportunities is always that's a code word for something that can't be good.
Oh yeah.
They caught you on the Craigslist?
No, it was just a limo pulled up next to me. I was like about to
At the
leave
airport?
LA. No, I'd like failed. I was about to leave LA. I was crying. And then a limo pulls up, window goes down. Just a disembodied voice. I didn't even see the face inside.
It's Jim Carrey's The Mask, and he put his green dick in Adam's mouth.
From the window.
Stop me!
The cock just jumped out of the window into his mouth across the street.
Adam being raped in the back of a limousine by The Mask.
Do you think that
He's in the limo. He's in the limo the whole time, and his dick is just fucking you.
Do you think The Mask is the best testament to 90s swing revival in popular culture?
Yes.
Yeah.
It has to be, right?
I got nothing else.
Zoot Riot, Cherry Poppin' Daddies is the only thing I can think of.
Stop trying to change the subject.
Yeah. From you getting fucked
I got
by the
raped by
mask.
Jim Carrey.
No.
Squirrels
by
on
the mask.
zippers.
By The Mask.
By the mask.
By Stanley Ipshitz, or whatever his name is.
Was that his name?
Yeah.
Well, not when he was wearing the mask. Then he just became the mask.
That's true.
Changed his whole government.
The Mask is a
You become
Loki,
whatever
the
you-
trickster god. Was Ben Stein saying that movie?
I don't remember. Ben Stein's in that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Many people have called. Oh, yeah. I love when they go through and they try and explain their dumb movie with, like, history and shit.
I think
like
he quotes Lacan too.
Lick on these nuts.
Yeah.
He quotes Lacan.
He goes, we all wear masks.
Yeah, I knew that because I know about Lacan.
Yeah, why, though?
To impress my girlfriend.
That's right. And it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. She's still not impressed.
Yeah, because she's too busy fucking the mask, which is the plot of that movie.
That's Nick, I thought that now you're taking it too far.
But the reveal at the end is that Cameron Diaz is actually been fucking Ben Stein the whole time, who stole the mask from Jim Carrey. And the mask coming back was a dream sequence that he used psychoanalysis to implant in Jim Carrey's head.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does Ben Stein look like with the mask? Because the bad guy's
He
just
is
like...
the mask.
He is the mask. That's the name of his
There
character.
is no Jim Carrey mask. Stanley Ipschitz is having a fever dream in which he's not being cucked by Ben Stein even.
Oh, wow.
And he has to pretend.
So there's no mask.
No. What happens is that Jim Carrey is a loser who goes to therapy because he can't fuck at his shitty bank job.
Right.
And Ben Stein, he's like, this girl you want to have sex with, what does she look like? And he's like, oh, she's Cameron Diaz.
She looks like Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, and then Ben Stein starts fucking her, and Jim Carrey has to pretend that the guy wore a mask to do it because he can't deal with the fact that Ben Stein is fucking pulling him more trim than him.
Interesting. So the mask is Ben Stein.
The mask is Ben Stein.
Wow.
Is the mask also take place in Miami?
No. It's in a fictional city called Edge City, where
really
you never come.
Is it actually Edge